Oh, God. I am amped up. One moment. I'm just going to record. Hello everyone, I'm live on YouTube right now covering the leaks of Ethan Klein's old Reddit account and Ritchie Torres making young Jewish boy Adam Friedland cry. I'm live. Our boy is ready to go. Yeah, so fucking ready to go that I even left my mic on whilst I was doing that. That's the kind of guy I am today. A troublemaker. Young Jewish boy Adam Friedland made cry by a Democrat. That's all I gotta say. It's tragic. Never been so early. Broccolito. Hi, big fan here. Don't think I've seen you on here before. Hello. Hello, Oct89. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Old and new. We got a mega day. Adam Friedland has been made to cry by... been made to cry by a Democrat. Of course he did. Apparently Destiny had 120,000 viewers earlier. Is that true? Really?
The
Just hopped off the TikTok live. Thank you for coming over. It's nice to see that this does actually... It's one of the reasons that I still do TikTok, in part to just bring people over. I don't think you could even view bot 120,000 people. Dude, that guy was terrible. I mean, indeed, but it's also so funny that these people like speak so negatively about Muslims in the UK when Muslims are literally immigrants, but they don't have a problem with Jewish settlers going over to the land and engaging in literally what they fantasize about. They don't care when like Jewish people do it in Palestine. I don't disagree with Bad Empanada. I just sometimes think that the way he conducts himself, maybe I wouldn't do that myself, but like I don't hate Bad Empanada or anything. I think he makes very good videos. I've spoken about this before. Who is Adam Friedland? He's a young Jewish boy. He's been made to cry. Young Jewish boy, Adam Friedland. But we've got some bangers in stock today. We've got this, which is Israeli artist Hila Klein's work, and this one, which is unbelievable. Let me see if I can actually find this. Apparently I need to sign up to Tumblr to look at Hila Klein's account, which is kind of unbelievable. Comrade Kunzler delivering us the best slop in years. They're saying they've never seen slop like this before. What time do you normally go live on TikTokies? I go live on TikTokies at normally 3:30 p.m, but I'm not going to be live again this week because I've got my video to edit, which should be out by Saturday, latest Sunday, but I think it should be fine. I'm not like thinking it won't be, so hopefully I'll be able to do it, but it remains to be seen. Thank you, Zooted Koala, for such kind words. Chris Tumblr. I don't have Tumblr, that's the problem. Hold on. Oh, fuck me. I use my fucking business email. The things I do for you... When is your birthday? October 2000. I need to edit my live slightly. Unfortunately, I don't have an OnlyFans thing. Yeah, I am a Libra. I was born on October the 7th. No. What even is this account? Like, it's definitely her. Look, it's Healer Klein. Last post was in 2014. Is that Netanyahu getting a tomato in his face? There's Shrek style. Oh, fuck. Shit. Hold on, I was trying to get to some specific images. Give me a second. Fuck. Close the stream. Should I end it? Oh, I don't know. Fuck. No, I didn't leak DMs. It was just a camel toe. Okay, fine. Good. I mean, I don't know what YouTube's policies are. Maybe I'll get in trouble for that. But, shit. That's not great. Maybe after all this time, they did defeat me. That picture was definitely okay, is it? Okay, cool. I just wanted to find some specific ones, because there's some crazy stuff on here, but I can't actually find the ones I'd seen even earlier. Yeah, like, these are the weird ones. Like, what is this? And then she drew this one, Good Morning Sunshine. And then this one of, like, sort of native-looking people, like, shirtless people, because, like, clearly that's, like, meant to be a more, I don't know, pretty interesting artwork here. Like, look at, what is this one? Like, she's drawing indigenous people like this, and it's like a storyboard of just, like, I mean, crazy. Who knows what she was actually thinking about here? Very clever stuff. I'm so ready. It will probably get demonetized at worst. Okay, that's cool. It's cool. We're eating good today, Kanzaria. Hell yeah. Yeah, maybe demonetized. It looks like she's drawn... I doubt she knows who she is, but she looks like she's drawn Rose West here, but these aren't really the ones I'm interested in. But yeah, let's actually cover this. Or maybe we should do Adam Friedland first. I don't know. Oh, God. The H3 podcast subreddit posted... HyperJ, the worst people we know are fighting with leaks. Indeed they are. Did she? Just edit out the stream before uploading it. Yeah, maybe I'll have to do that. Maybe I'll do that. So the H3 Reddit posted this, which is someone posting about the Minneapolis shooter being a Nazi, and they did post this kind of stuff and all this heinous stuff, but they were also saying the N-word. They were saying a slur for Spanish people or Hispanic people, I guess. And like, I think, to be honest, it's like quite a worrying thing. And they were also worshipping Brennan Tarrant, who was literally a guy who massacred Muslims. So I think, like, framing it as like, oh my God, this is a specific rise in anti-Semitism. Of course, that's an anti-Semitic person, but Like, ultimately, I think the thing is that when it comes to this guy, when it comes to this guy, I can't even remember what I was saying. Fuck. Yeah, I saw this. I mean, bro, it kind of does look a little bit I mean, it's weird stuff. Like, maybe she'd just say, like, oh, this is just, like, you know, what do you call it? Jimmy Neutron review, please. Yeah, I'll review Jimmy Neutron episodes. That's what I'm going to do for the rest of the day. It's only about anti-Semitism, though. No, of course. And I think that person was probably like a... I don't even know if you would call that person a Nazi, like, as his actual political beliefs, because it seems that, like, it's almost an incoherent political belief that is literally just pure hatred. Like, I saw the video of him talking, and it's just, like, pure hatred. Like, just vile stuff. Like, I don't... It's hard because, like, it's hard because it's just, like, incoherent, just hate. Am I doing it right? Hell yeah. 3-month members going on. Come on, lads. But yeah, this is odd stuff. It was the same month/year it was popular for Israelis to mock her death as Hasbara kicked in. And I mean, the other thing you would say about this is that, like, also, Ethan's posts were pretty crazy about Palestine. And his, by the way, I don't know if you all know this, his name was fucking Pedo Troll. That was literally his name on here. Because, like, apparently, he commented, this is accurate on this. And, like, I think the thing that's so important to bear in mind about Ethan Klein is that this was 12 years ago. Yes, that's 12 years ago. A long time ago, bro. But he was 28. This guy was 28, and he was saying that, like, this kind of stuff is normal to be posting. Like, this kind of stuff is pretty fucking crazy, you know? Not a good troll. No, he's not a good troll. I mean, actually, you know what? Like, trolling generally has resulted in a lot of people sort of, you know, becoming, suffering very deeply. That affects people deeply and pushes them towards horrifying situations. And seemingly Ethan has pushed many people towards, you know, thinking about taking horrible acts. But yeah, he's really making... I'm just having a look to see if I can find them. God, there's just him replying to Destiny all these years ago. Like, I didn't actually believe that it was true that Destiny was genuinely his inspiration, but, like, it seemingly his is, it's not like he was 14. I mean, even if he was, like, you know, fucking, like, 19 or this age, like, 19 or, like, younger, like, it wouldn't, like, I'm 24 years old. Like, 15 years ago is when I was that age. Like, sorry, him 15 years ago is, like, my age, and it's just, like, the thought of commenting this kind of stuff never occurred to me even when I was that age. Like, sure, I held some problematic beliefs, but they were largely just that, oh, everyone, like, trolling is fine, you should say outrageous stuff. Hold on. Yeah, TT is her name. That's her name. Destiny thinks there's a problem in his community. What, like, not enough pedo apologia? Yeah, I mean, there isn't enough pedo apologia in Ethan's, community, unfortunately. I'm just trying to find some of the stuff I'm actually looking for. Have they been deleted? That's the subhuman one. We're having to use Destiny as a source for this. Awful stuff. Awful stuff. TT is Hebrew for boobs. Is it? Is that actually Hebrew for boobs? A lot of respect now. Well, I don't know anyone who was a slave, but my friends of my grandparents were able to compare their personal experience of the labor camps with Gaza. What? Palestinians are not treated as subhumans. Bro, keeping keeping millions of people locked inside a space in which they're not allowed to leave is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's obscene and it's brutal and it's barbaric. But this is what Ethan thinks, or thought 15 years ago when he was 25, by the way, 25 years old living in Israel. There are reasons for what the Israelis do that are more complex than what you may see as genocide or hate. Come to Israel, talk to an Israeli. You have no first-hand experience and no knowledge. Talking points, come to Israel, talk to a Palestinian for that matter. I mean, this is the funny thing. I think if you talk to, you did a full dump. 1 second. 1 second. I'm just going to move my screen away. You did it in the Importante. In case you wanted... Where did you dump them? So that's where this all is. Right, sorry. Palestinians living in Israel are not shot and killed in the street. They are not harassed, abused, etc. They are integrated into society on almost every level. Like, this is also the funny thing. Like, you can literally just listen to people talking about this. You can literally listen to Palestinians who actually talk about this. There have been so many Palestinians who have long spoken about their negative experience, but also just using this as a justification of going like, Palestinians are fine, but like things are bad in the West Bank is so fundamentally ridiculous. Like, it's just like so fundamentally ridiculous to sit there and say this. And also, by the way, sorry, I wanted to talk about this. This is also just the best example of how Zionist propaganda and how like the Discord link is literally the pinned comment. This is the best example of how Zionist propaganda. I'm gonna put on a goal for the sake of goals. Goals. I would offer another stream this week. Maybe I could do another stream next week, but I guess I might want to work on a video too then, because I was thinking about doing something about Ethan. But I don't know. I'll just put on goal for the sake of goals. He literally says in one of those screenshots that Palestinians Arab born in Israel. Jesus Christ. They are integrated into society. I live in Tel Aviv. I live in an Arab neighborhood. All of the shops in my neighborhood are owned by Palestinians. I work with and live next to Arabs, Palestinians. I have Palestinian friends. There are laws that discriminate against them, yes, and I do not like that, and I want it to stop. But try and see the reason for why Israel does it. This is crazy work. This is crazy work. Actually, yeah, you're probably right. I should have edited the goal. If it reaches the goal, I'll do a Q&A, actually. Yeah, the Q&A wasn't there. And the next stream, I'll start and open with a Q&A. Maybe I should set up one of the goals that would probably convince you the most to donate billions to me would probably be if I said I never did a TikTok live again. But that ain't fucking happening. It ain't happening. But try to see... This is also just crazy. Try and see the reason that Israel has laws that discriminate against people. Bro, try and see why... America had all of its laws that discriminate against people. Try and see why white people had laws that discriminated against black people in South Africa. They had reasons for them in their own twisted and perverse logic. They did have those things. Yuri Peletsky, like the stream. Indeed, Yuri. Thank you very much for your donation. Like the stream, mother... Yeah, Qatar is sponsoring you and all. I know. Qatar is sponsoring me. But it's just crazy work to say shit like that. To sit there and then just go, oh, well, actually there's reason for it. Because everyone has reasons for what they do. It's just some of those reasons are much more perverse. And by the way, this is someone who sees like Hamas, Iran as like barbaric evil and stuff. The screen's empty. Oh, shit, sorry. I didn't even realize the screen was empty. Oh, fuck. Sorry. Shit. No, I wasn't pre-screening. And also, I will be fine. It was a camel toe drawn through clothes. So, like, yeah, it probably will get this demonetized. But it's not like, you know, it's not like it was pornography or anything. So that's positive at least, I guess. So I'm just checking who's following me on. Oh, fuck, I think the person who made Tantura, Pinar Bora, followed me on Instagram. Cool. Is anyone else's stream a bit delayed? All streams are delayed. All streams are delayed. Always on here. They're always going to be delayed. And you are never, ever, 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 I am never, ever going to undelay my stream. And if you think that that is happening... it is definitely their account. He was talking about old H3 videos, like as if he'd made them when H3 had no subscribers and no people at all. Yeah, I'm gonna start. New York Times have paywalled the fucking Also, you want to see a dismantling of honest reporting? Bro, what you got to understand about Chris K Middle East is I've been in the game of Palestine posting for a long time. I have a video debunking Honest Reporting. Honest Reporting once made a fucking video about me. Like, they made a video saying, like, Chris Kunzer is a liar. I have a video. Here you go. A Zionist organization by the name of Honest Reporting has made a video about me, and rather than stitch it so you only get to see a few seconds of the diatribe that they are spewing about Palestinians and my argument, what I am instead going to do is show you the bits and dismantle the lies. Let's begin.
Mandated to supply the PA with 31 million
This guy.
cubic meters of water per year. That's a lot. Over 1/4 of all of the PA's water. They even charge the PA less for water than they do for Israelis.
This is the first claim of the video that is absolutely ridiculous, because what he is saying is that the Palestinians should be grateful for the fact that they are being given water by Israel. However, the thing is why is Israel in control of the water in a land that belongs to the Palestinian people? Now, in 1982, then Defense Minister gave control of the water resources within the West Bank to the Israeli National Water Company.
I used to work at Middle East Eye at this time. That was the most hellish setup. I didn't even have a desk. I had I literally just had like a chest of drawers that I used to just put my laptop on. And I was just like working for Middle East Eye for a little bit.
Company Mekarot, and he sold it to them for only 1 shekel, as opposed to the 5 million that it was actually worth. How on earth are you sitting there and justifying to yourself the idea that a country should be allowed to take the water resources of an occupied territory and then sell them back to the people who live within there? It is ridiculous and it is cruel.
It's the PA's job to get water to the Palestinians. They could extract water from the eastern aquifer, but they don't.
Now, I believe that the eastern aquifer is the mountain aquifer, which is under the West Bank. However, regardless of this, Israel is in control.
So, on the PC, I'm waiting for a time at which my friend can help me build it, basically. So, I need to order the parts, probably, and then I need my friend's help, so that's the main thing. But I want to get it done before... I don't want it to be a thing. I want to have it for at least a few streams before I go
all
away.
of the water sources within the region, the Jordan River, the coastal aquifer, and also the mountain or eastern aquifer. Moreover, it is not as simple as the PA just taking water from it. Mekorot, Israel's national water company, extracts 89% of water from this aquifer, which is one of the ways in which the settlers are allowed to enjoy so much water than Palestinians are.
The PA's technology is not as advanced. The PA's water system often leaks, has water stolen, and is just used
Wait, what was the Kunz law I just dropped?
wastefully. So in the end, over 1/3 of their water is lost.
In 2016, Amir Haas wrote an article debunking all of the things that he just said.
I mean, what I will say about Ethan is Ethan has helped me break out of TikTok, because before I was like, you know, like, people acted as if like, oh, where did I come from? I've got 400,000 followers on TikTok, you know, quite a lot of people did know who I was. Oh, now I've lost that TikTok. But anyway, if you want to watch it, that's me just dunking on honest reporting. Maybe I will do a Sam Harris, because I know about his thought a bit and like the Neo-Orientalist. Oh, yeah. There's a video of me working for Middle East Eye. I've shown it on stream before. If you type in Chris Kunzler Middle East Eye, there's actually two. Kahana Middle East Eye. There's a video on YouTube of me working for it. You can find it. It's not that hard. It's on YouTube. But all of the comments are just people saying that they like Mayor Kahana.
In our last episode, we explored.
Here's one. There you go. Ellis running a podcast with Pedo Troll. He wasn't. How was he to know that Pedo Troll was a pedo? Who would have ever known? Right, we'll get back to this. But try and see the reason for why Israel does it, and maybe the start of understanding that can actually solve the problem. You do nothing but spit hatred and ignorance. Nothing you know or think can be used constructively to help the situation. It's funny that Ethan never changed. He was just able to conceal his views slightly better. When I read stories about how Gaza is a death camp and how it is being deprived of essentials and about ethnic cleansing, this statistic comes to life. The average life expectancy of people born in Gaza is 73 years. That doesn't sound like Nazi Germany or apartheid South Africa to me. This fact alone speaks volumes. Am I correct in thinking this? If not, please explain to me. Oh, what? Because these situations are materially different. And also, by the way, even at this point, if you were to compare degrees of apartheid, life expectancy wouldn't be the best comparison. But now, Israel, I believe the life expectancy in Gaza has actually dropped to something like 40, which, you know, considering that it was previously 70, and life expectancy has generally gone up all around the world since the Second World War, is seemingly a drop-off that would, you know, indicate actually this is a sort of death camp. But of course, you know, Ethan wasn't to know that. Ethan wasn't to know that keeping Palestinians locked in a tiny space was going to lead to mass killing. No. And demonizing them the whole time. Pedo Troll is indeed Ethan, yes. China also has a life expectancy of 73 years. Do you think China is smooth sailing? Look at the living conditions, not the life expectancy. That's like that's like saying the BP oil spill doesn't because of how much water is on the planet. Israel is systemically breaking down the Palestinian people in variety of different ways. It's 2010. They aren't just going to outright gas a bunch of Palestinians. They would if they could. They must use a much more delicate strategy. Starvation, segregation, and outright murder. Jesus Christ. Who was this guy? Who is deleted? Deleted was based. Deleted I mean, you know what? Like, seeing what happened or what was going to happen wasn't actually that hard. It's like Lonerbox had like a fucking fit in his video saying Patrick Wolf was bad because Patrick Wolf was like, what Gaza will become like, or more likely is to become like, is like the Warsaw Ghetto. And by the way, did you know there are actually images of the Warsaw Ghetto, which Zionist propagandists are now like, oh, there's no genocide or starvation in Gaza because you have some people who are like fatter and healthier. There are photos in the Warsaw Ghetto. Adam too spoke about this, someone who's much more of an expert than I, on his podcast. He spoke about the famine in Gaza, and he was talking about how that you have those photos exist. I haven't been able to find them. It has gone up to 79 years old, by the way. What, in Gaza, or had gone up prior to this? But whoever deleted it is based. Meanwhile, Muslims throughout the world are doing that to everyone. Religion is awesome. This guy, not so much. I don't know if China is smooth sailing, whatever you mean by that, but I also don't compare Chinese living conditions to ghettos in Nazi Germany. China actually has relatively good standards for most of its people, healthcare-wise. Ethan Klein, Maoist? Third world Maoist? Oh, okay. You are comparing so I don't think it is fair comparison. You are comparing the second most powerful country on earth, so I don't really see your point. This is an outrageous statement you made. It's 2010. They aren't just going to outright gas a bunch of Palestinians. They would if they could. Bro, it's not an outrageous statement. Israel has literally been gassing Palestinians, using gas on people in the tunnels. And also, for the ones of you who are doubting this, Destiny is our source today. Thank you, Mr. Stephen Kenneth. You know, you should probably be in prison, but thanks for posting these today. Hey, I have Tourette's syndrome. It's not very interesting, but I'll answer questions. The teeth fap of the 10th fap of the day. This is posted 13 years ago by him. Any disc golfers or courses in Tel Aviv, Israel? Lol pedo troll. Thanks. I saw something like that online. So, doodles from my sketchbook with markers. Princess Bubbles. When you become an uncle and avoid the sexual tension that is inevitable between you and your nephew, it will be very exciting and enticing, but in the end, the stress that will result from this relationship will not be worth it. It is always best to get involved with children outside the family, with friends, co-workers, etc. This is a very weird thing to post. This is a very, very, very odd thing to be posting. Like, I'm not saying it means Ethan Klein is a paedophile, but I don't know why you're posting that. Honestly, I think it's beautiful that they have such an intimate relationship. The mother's therapy doesn't have to be sexual at all. You people are the sick ones making the connection. I hope that I can have such an intimate and open relationship with my children. Bro. Oh my god, Jesus Christ. But also, like, just posting like this. Ethan, bro, you could have an intimate and nice relationship with your kids, but you spend all your time tweeting about Hassan on Instagram stories. That's all you do. On your birthday, you're posting about Hassan. Or when you turn 40, you just love Hassan. All you post about is fucking Hassan Piker. Hassan Piker! Hold on. What's he been posting about today? It's not letting me log into my Instagram account. Fuck. He has kids, yes. But he didn't at this time. That N-word, but slightly less, like, it's still the N-word, and I'm not repeating it. It's still a problematic word. Child sure is elastic. Reminds me of when I stand in front of the mirror and twist my hips so my dick dances in circles. Oh, sorry, I missed a couple of donations as well. I mean, weird shit to be saying. Mr. Bornicelli, you are a fantastic moron. My PC, I don't even think it's dust. I think my PC is just cooked. I think my PC is just done out here. It's near its end, but that's fine. I am getting a new one ASAP. And from streaming after the end of November, because I'm going to be away for like 5 weeks, and the streams will be much less frequent, but I'll still be making content. But yeah, I mean, it is pretty cool that this is what Ethan is doing at my age. Like, even I think at this point, like, at any age, if I'd, like, just had any small interaction with the Middle East, I'd still be studying the Middle East. I probably just wouldn't be making content about it online. I'd probably just be trying to write about it and talk about it. you know, in other ways. Usually stops like he did too when it hits my 2-year-old in the face, lol. He usually stands under me asking what I'm doing. I just tell him daddy is dancing. He didn't have a 2-year-old. He doesn't have a 16-year-old kid. He's just like making weird, inappropriate jokes. There's also another account who's been posting them. Let's see if we can find them. Because I have a link. Thank you, Henry, for doing that. But they're just like shitty jokes, some of these. Like, I'm not sure like Ethan is a pedo, but there's definitely some odd things. He got his fans to send me death threats last week to now this. I'm munching the popcorn anyway. Bro, it's so... What is so crazy about this? What is so crazy about all of this is that the reason that this is all like such a problem for Ethan is because he made his bed with Destiny and now he'll lie in it. If he wasn't such a fucking like defender of Israel, people would just be like, oh shit, look what Ethan used to say about Israel, and look how much he's changed, and like how much he feels differently now. But like, it's not. And also, if he wasn't, you know, talking about these things or making that weird fucking Boston bombing video and, you know, just like defending or like saying, oh, it's bad taste and stuff, but not saying like, yeah, that was fucked. Touch little boys, that's something he's frequently tempted to do. Attacked again, that's just obviously but he'll just sit on his show and be like, yeah, it's just an old post. It's like, you're 26, bro. Is this really what you should be doing as a 26-year-old? Like, is this really what you should be? Oh, I'm not even reading that. I'm not even reading that. Oh, God, what is this? You're 26 years old, bro. I'm not. 900 watches and 200 likes. Where are the likes? Where are the likes? Bro, I'm not showing it. It's on Jake Chinatown. It's just like pedophilia jokes and him talking about a story which is probably false about how like a dog bit him. And then he's talking about a little man being R-worded. And like, normally I'd use that word, but just in the context of like what he's saying here, like I don't want to use it. Because it's just weird. Like, I assume maybe he was just trying to get Reddit karma. Like, that's it. Like, I don't know. Oh, Jesus Christ. But yeah, I mean, it's not a good look when you've just made your bed with Destiny, someone who else is like this. Someone said he was whining about Reddit. Destiny is showing some amazing plays with the new patched Infesta. Yeah, 26-year-old Israeli baby. This is what happens when you go to Israel. This is actually why whenever you target someone, even if they're in the Israeli military, it is akin to killing a baby, because this is the kind of mindset that they have. The Reddit is trying to say the person who found this did it through illegal means. What about the posts? How did they find it through illegal means? Like, did they just find his thing? I'm reading all these in Glenn's voice, like that episode when he lived in the suburb with Mac and then crashed the fuck out. Why are you all crying about Imber already? Remember when Roach got +1 distance and everyone still was crying Imber? Shut the fuck up and wait at least 1 week before you start QQing. Oh God, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. I'm just looking through and seeing what I can find. There's someone describing it as 9/11 for H3 fans. Bloke definitely needs the button in real life. Yeah, he needs a button that erases the last 20 plus years. Because it's so funny when you post online so much, and then you act like Hassan is like the most evil guy ever, and you're bringing up stuff he did 10 plus years ago, when like, yeah, he was 20. You're still young. It's probably not great. It's not appropriate. The internet's a different place and blah, blah, blah. But the thing with Ethan is, everyone was like, well, Ethan changed. So, like, all of that stuff about him doing the N-word, yeah, it's grossly inappropriate. Like, all of these old videos are a product of their time. But when you consider that Ethan just still randomly said the N-word the other day, I know he was singing, but that doesn't make it any better. I don't think that you should just be singing it. But, like, the thing is that, like, when you see, like, him just doing this stuff and what he's like today, it just shows you he's never changed. Yeah, Imber means imbalance. And also, yeah, he's fucking 28. Thank you, for the $1. Hassan Bro Tips versus Pedo Troll. Yeah, who's winning that one? Who you'll got, Pedo Troll or Destiny? Yeah, after he got his merch, like, why are you wearing Keemstar merch? This is someone who just a few years ago was saying the most horrible stuff about your wife. It is so clear that just, if you pivot to the right-wing grift, there will be people who will just gleefully fucking accept you, whatever you've done, whatever you say, whatever it is. They are going to fucking love you. It's just also weird, like, commenting this sexual stuff, like, maybe if you're making, like, sexual jokes, like, you know, like, it just feels creepy and seedy as, like, a, oh my god, like, literally, he hasn't even changed. He literally hasn't even changed. You know? He hasn't even changed. Why does everyone praise an artist when they refuse to play a show in Israel, but then line up to purchase tickets when they play in the US? Isn't the US, by all standards, guilty of way more war crimes and overall brutality against the world? Yes, definitely true. But the thing is that with Israel, with the US, if, like, people don't go there, it's not going to actually achieve anything, because the US is so big. And it has its own economy. Israel is literally just this weird little settler colony that relies... I mean, the US is a settler colony, don't get me wrong. But the US is this little... Israel... I mean, they're both settler colonies, so that's why I'm getting confused here. Israel is this little settler colony, which is, like, based on the idea that it's, like, good, just, and moral, and that we should all, like, worship and just love Israel because of, like, I don't know, it's part of Western civilization. And so I think that, like, this thing about, like, you know, why should we say that you shouldn't play shows in the US? Sure, you shouldn't. But, like, when it comes to the case of Israel, like, you might actually have an effect by BDS and through economic means of targeting Israel and encouraging people not to normalize it. Because the US is already too normalized, and, like, people do go, and it's not a great thing, and he is right, but it's just what, I know he's right. I know he's right in the sense of, like, saying, like, why don't people do it with the US? But just in the context of Israel, saying that means people shouldn't do it with the US, with Israel is just fundamentally ridiculous, you know, because, like, Israel is just something that you could actually affect in that way, whereas the US is not. Like, the US is proof from, like, small economic boycott, unfortunately. And also, of course, like, as you say, people are always first to criticize, like, Israel for what it fucking is. Let's have a look at some of his old Hasbara. As someone who lives in Israel, I'm troubled by this. Reports like this seem to always make their way into the headlines, becoming the basis for everyone's opinion about Israel and Israelis. The first thing you should know about Israel is that nearly all of the people here are quite liberal and in favor of peace. We interact with Arabs every day, and it is no different than interacting with anyone else. There is no distrust or animosity between everyday people. The second thing to know is that the ultra-Orthodox Jews are fucking insane. Everyone in Israel hates the ultra-Orthodox. They are easily comparable to neoconservative Christians in their fundamentalism, and even extremist Muslims. I like how Muslims are distinct from evangelical Christians in his fucking mind. Because, like, those evangelical Christians have certainly fucked up and done more damage around the world than those Palestinian or fundamentalists are, and have And that's not even to run defense for any of these fundamentalists. But fundamentalism is also a funny word because it basically just means drawing political legitimacy and program from scripture. And even extremist Muslims, they are the scourge of Israel and as much a detriment to peace as the terrorists. Bro, terrorists, first of all, it's just crazy, bro. Like, your wife was in the IOF. Your wife illegally occupied people's land, bro. Behave. Be quiet. Enough. And also, like, just saying they're as much a detriment. They're a way bigger detriment. Israel is the one with the power, the international backing, the legitimacy to do whatever it fucking pleases. Colonial privilege is coddling. That's why you end up with bratty monsters. I mean, also, by the way, this is just also birthright indoctrination. Like, I swear there's a video of Ethan saying he didn't really care or know much about Israel prior to October the 7th. Someone told me as well, and I'm pretty confident that this is true because they wrote about birthright and stuff. Birthright prefers it when you don't have any rabbinic training or knowledge of Judaism as like as a religion or anything. Because they want to get people who don't have any understanding. And what they'll do is they'll bring in like young people who don't know anything about Israel. And it's not that the wife assignment thing is a joke, but what it actually is basically, Ethan even said this, they let like pretty IOF soldiers have like a few weeks off to go and meet the young people, and then the young people end up fucking them, they end up having sex with them, and they build a relationship with them, and then they become little Hasbarists. And it's not even always because like fundamentally their view about Israel has changed in terms of like, oh, Israel does bad things, but what they do start to fucking believe in, what they do actually believe in, is the idea that Israel is under threat, that these, you know, these lovely people who they meet who are so nice and moral are threatened by like these scary terrorists. They're just normal good people like us. They just want to be Jewish, and they're always attacked by terrorists. And that's what birthright does. That is the trick that birthright plays on you. On Jewish people. It is literally done so people's relationships and perceptions with Israel are changed. And like, that's what it is. Like, Ethan even said in that podcast, you can literally watch it if you want. Ethan talks about it. Like, I'll literally play it. Hold on. Oh, this is 17 minutes. I'm not watching it. But hold on.
Some beanie slinging American hotties, some thick boys. Did they tell you about the thick boys?
No.
They didn't mention that? That's weird.
Joining the army in the beginning is really difficult. It's like a real shock. They really grind you all day. You get maybe 5 hours of sleep at best in tent.
And then it gets better when you get to raid Ramallah. That is when it gets good. I would take the shag offered. It's not like they offer you sex guaranteed. It's just like they're like young people meeting other young people from different fucking places. Like, you know, who are like, I guess Israel's just made up of people from fucking different places anyway.
And you're just all day running around doing stuff. And then I remember the first weekend that I went back home. I was just at my parents' house, and all of a sudden thinking about the time was like such a luxury. Like, I had the whole day to do whatever I want. You also don't make a lot of money when you're in the army, so
you just get to kill Palestinians. This is also a weird clip that I don't think many people have talked about before. This is weird.
For a long time I was working on the weekends. So it was
I had to raid Ramallah not only in the week but on the weekend.
pretty intense schedule to
It's an intense schedule of raiding
go
Ramallah.
back home and then
Here's a guy I raided Ramallah with.
have 2 days of weekend and also try to manage to do some shifts at work to get some money. And so when I heard I could go on a week vacation all paid, that was like a true miracle.
So listen. She's talking about it. They pay you for a week off the army to just go and meet American Jews. Like, that's what they do. That's what they do. This is sinister, weird shit, bro. But you can see how, like, Ethan's view forms via this.
You get a week off from work or army, all paid for. I didn't ask any questions. I was just, yes, I'll go.
So for me, birthright is this really weird thing. From people outside, it's weird. From inside, it's still weird. There's rich Jews in Europe, UK, Canada, US, who give tons of cash, tons of money to the state of Israel for the purpose of bringing young Jews on this trip to Israel to connect with their Jewish heritage. It's like the most glorified version of JewDate.net. And they handpick these beautiful Israeli soldiers. They bring over all these young American kids,
They don't
and they're
pick
like,
beautiful people.
they're like, okay, guys, you know what to do, right? It's
They don't.
JewDate.net /Ela Kleiners. What up, Ela Kleiners? It's kind of a strange thing. This you need to
Yeah.
be Jewish because it is very Zionistic. It's very like racial, right?
It's sending support for her. No one should work on the weekend. All paid for. Thank you, Qatar. Thank you to the Qatari government.
But I didn't care about the Zionistic thing. I don't think anyone there really does. They're just like, oh, a free.
I love how he's like, I didn't care about Zionism. Look what they did to you, bro. They got you doing Hasbara on Reddit alongside pedophilia, bro. And also, by the way, thanks for everyone who's donated.
Free trip to Israel, something that I could never afford and something that sounds really great. So anyway, we're on Birthright. I'm in Israel. I'm super anxious. I'm not really getting along with people that much. I'm really in my head. I feel like crap all the time, but you know, I'm trying to do my thing. And the soldiers, Ela soldiers, they join after a couple of days. We've already been there. And there's this girl that is flipping tall and beautiful, and she's got these huge blue eyes, and I was like, what? And she's got like black hair that like is in a crazy contrast to her blue eyes, and I'm there like in the corner like minding my own business, and I'm like,
apparently one thing I'm just looking at watching this video, and I don't care commenting on this stuff generally, and like I you know, it's something that Ethan isn't his fault, but I was just googling, does Tourette's get worse with age? And it says no, generally it doesn't. But like Ethan's has, like, he can't go through a conversation without coughing now, or like just. But that's also just clearly because he's stressed because his whole world's falling apart. I mean, he's still got lots of money, but in terms of his sort of position and stuff, it's not all going so well, is it, Ethan? Your attack on Hassan Piker could not have failed any worse.
is anyone seeing this? Is anyone seeing this shit? Right? No. I was like, damn, is anyone seeing this shit? Or I'm looking around like. I was probably at my fattest point then. Mm-hmm. And I had like a beard. I didn't shave. Do you remember that? I looked like a Hasid almost. I was like a mess. I felt like, I don't know how I looked, but I felt like at my most all-time unattractive ever, right? I just felt like compelled.
The Israeli, even before they did it, they knew that this man would one day take down Hassan Piker. That's how clever the Israeli Mossad is. They knew that this man would be the scourge of Hassan Piker, the world's biggest leftist.
To try to approach her and speak to her. Because I'm sitting here like, no one else is like looking at this, and I'm like, you guys seeing this or what? It's like there's like a fat, like, freshly baked like chicken, and it's dank and it smells good. It's on the table and everyone's just walking by, and I'm sitting, there's like this bomb ass chicken.
You could say like ice cream, like white chicken.
And I'm like, anyone seen this? And everyone's walking by like they don't smell it and shit, and I'm like, no one wants to bite of this. kind of strange analogy, but it works for me. So I felt like at my most disgusting, and in my headspace, I was at my worst in my whole life, and I just felt like I need to talk to this girl. There's something about her. You had this cool thing where you were kind of like an outsider. You were quiet.
That's what I was gonna say. I feel like you were also kind of
She was quiet because she was, bro, have some respect. She was tired from raiding Ramallah.
an outsider.
Yeah.
And that's why we both kind of like sense that outsider.
Yeah.
Outsider
We're
club.
that cool ass kids breakfast club.
A club of two people who don't belong anywhere.
That's true. You know, that's so true. I do feel like that still to this day.
Where is Ethan in this picture? There's Healer. Where's Ethan? I don't think he's in it.
We were with a group of about
Oh, he's there. He's there. He's there.
40 people, and this photo pretty much represents how I felt at the time. It was a hot, muggy Israeli summer day, and we were planning a trip to Jerusalem. And among other things, a trip to the Holocaust Museum. It's honestly quite beautiful in the northern part of Israel. The landscape and architecture is so different there, it was really interesting to see. But honestly, the last thing I expected to find up there was the love of my life. The first day we were in Jerusalem, you guys joined, and yeah, we were on our way to the Holocaust Museum. And
Bro, like, I'm sorry. That is actually crazy. That is crazy. That is crazy that they take the day you meet the IOF soldiers. I wonder if that's always the case, that you meet them on the day of the Holocaust Museum, because one of the most effective Zionist propaganda techniques is making Palestinians seem as if they are the successors from the Nazis, and therefore they are like awful, evil people who need to be treated in the same way that the Nazis are. I mean, there's probably nothing more worth watching in here. Shall we finish this? There's not that long left. Finish this video. Fuck ITF. Keep it going. Might as well. Yeah. Okay. Fuck.
Jerusalem, yeah.
And then I remember at the museum was the first time we like
Caught eyes. Or like, what up? No, I was watching you like fresh baked chicken. I was like, oh.
I don't like
shit.
being a chicken.
I was like, we were eating like pizzas outside,
Yeah.
which was like sealed buffet. We were eating like Papa John pizzas outside the Holocaust Museum, and I think that was the first time we caught eyes. And I was looking at her like,
Okay, no more
"Nah, I'm
chicken."
kidding, I'm kidding." But I remember looking over at her, and she caught her like dead in the eyes, and I was like, oh, cool. She knows that I exist. I thought that was dope. And I think we went into the Holocaust Museum, and we're like, trying to peep that out, trying to get the experience and stuff. And I didn't know what compelled me, but I felt like that was an appropriate time to approach you. Something about the Holocaust Museum was just like, this is appropriate.
Yeah.
This is the right time to say what up.
Yep.
I think I went up to her and I said something like, how about all these Jews, huh? Am I right?
Really, I don't
No, I
remember.
didn't. I think I said something like, they had it coming, don't you think? Something like that? No, I didn't say anything like that. I wonder if you would have laughed, though. They had it coming, don't you think? But I was compelled.
Also crazy because like Ethan was always making offensive jokes, and like he wonders why like, you know, people were like felt okay with making these jokes, and is now like allegedly so anti them. Bro, you just made that joke in your video.
had to talk to her. And we started talking, and just like, you know, it was kind of just like chummy. Very chummy.
What's chummy?
Like old friends, right? You chum, right? You chummed? We chummed.
Which one? Apparently.
We definitely chummed. I remember the first time like I pushed myself to come say hi to you, and I was so nervous. I was so anxious about it, and I like thought about what I would say or how I would approach you, and I was so in my head, and everything was making it way worse. But I knew, just like the same thing when I was like, I have to do this trip. No matter how bad I feel, no matter how I don't want to take the easy route and just not do it, I have to do this. I have to do this. I had the same mentality when I saw you there. I was like, I don't want to do this. It's
We found love in a Hasbara place.
extremely uncomfortable, but I have to do this. And I went, and you know, I felt horrible. It was super scary. And I just went up to you, and I was just like, hey, dude, what up? You know, I'm Ethan, whatever,
Yeah,
right?
It's funny to think that something can be so like terrifying in your head, where I was probably just as nervous as you were to
Yeah.
talk to anyone, you know.
Yeah.
So it's funny how you build up in your head.
I remember I bought you a guitar. You remember that?
Yeah,
I was playing guitar. I had learned how to play guitar.
we
and
got it at the Shuk in Yafo.
yeah, we bought it from some like gypsies for like $10. I bartered hard for that boy. I didn't have much money back then. $10, that was a huge investment. It's still in your room in Israel.
Yep.
And it sounds like shit.
Yep.
As it should, for $10. But I used to play guitar back then for the soul. I used to play guitar for you all the time.
Okay, this is enough of this. He did just post about it on He's upset because someone got it from Docspin, which is like, yeah, Docspin's not a great thing, but still, Ethan, you know, this is just interesting stuff. And it's out in the public now, so... And the amount of people he's doxed on his fucking show. So, right, here we go. My friends, I have a terrible confession to make. Yes, it is true my 15-year-old Reddit account was identified by using a doxing website that lists history of all emails and passwords that have been leaked in illegal data breaches. A post last night was made on the Snark subreddit by the person who obtained this information with Reddit's help. This person was able to disseminate this illegally and maliciously obtained information to a community whose sole purpose is to harass me and my family and my employees. In doing so, some terrible revelations were made. Yes, my account username PedoTroll made a few bizarre and edgy attempts at being funny. It was a common on Reddit 15 years ago to create a thematically named troll account to post silly things from. The method was to have Redditors read something crazy, then check the username and realize it was a goof. You can see clear evidence of this on most of my posts made in character. These troll stories include anecdotes that clearly never happened, including a story that references my children who were born 10 years later. Further evidence of this is simply that I was self-promoting my YouTube channel while doing these parody posts. I knew I was personally identifiable the entire time. I was trying to be funny so that people would look at my account and discover my YouTube channel. I was not ashamed of it then, and I am not ashamed of it now. Embarrassed, yes, on par with cringing at my old YouTube videos. It is kind of a weird thing to say that you're not ashamed of it. Like, I would be ashamed that I'd done this kind of stuff, you know? Yes, there are a few posts of me being a Zionist Jewish supremacist, which includes me mostly arguing with someone calling Israel Nazi Germany. It's kind of amazing. It's kind of amazing because, you're 26, yeah, so full-grown man. But also, what you say that all of these jokes were made in character and that it was an in-character account. Why were you pretending to be a pedo and doing Hasbara? Are you saying that all Hasbarists are pedophiles? Is that in character, bro? In totality, about 95% of the posts were about StarCraft 2 or self-promoting my YouTube channel. I have nothing to hide and nothing to apologise for. And remember, folks, joking about pedophilia is not the same as having it on your computer. The pedo civil war is continuing! The pedo civil war is heating up! I'm not watching any more of this, there's enough of that. But, the pedo civil war is heating up. So next time you hear a story like this, I hope you will see it as an isolated case from lunatics, rather than a generalization of Israelis as a whole. Israelis are good people, and I am sad that these incidents and cowards have come to represent them. Bro, the Israeli government is made up of extremist racists. The truth is that all these other people who were saying like these things to you about what Israel was like were the ones who were in the right. Not you, bro. You were defending the indefensible then, and you are defending the indefensible now. Zionism didn't magically become a bad project. It was always a bad racist project that thought Palestinians had no right to live in their historic homeland, bro. People also just keep posting this as well, just as like a quote. And of course, you know, he's right about that he didn't have a kid, and some of these are obviously made up stories. 100%. 100%. First, great Nick, pedo troll. Second, what percent support the wall? What percent support the settlers? What percent support the loyalty oath? I think people as a whole support the wall, and they have good reason to. Since its construction, there have been 0 terrorist attacks inside Israel. That means no bombs in cafes, no bombs in buses, no bombs in shopping malls, compared to a time before its construction where bombs were a month, sometimes weekly incident. This was a scary time. And deeply affected everyone. When you live in these conditions, your safety and comfort comes before outsiders. And because Israel had the power to protect itself, it did. This is a natural reaction from any country. Bro, this is not a natural reaction. The apartheid wall annexed... The apartheid wall segmented Palestinian land. There's a certain refugee camp. I think it's Dahaishe. There's literally graffiti on that wall which says, "Welcome to the Bethlehem ghetto." People's land is just, like, taken away. Apartheid wall. People write on it and express, like, how difficult that is. Like, how difficult it is to live alongside it. And it just, like, has separated and cut up Palestinian land. It annexed huge amounts of Palestinian territory. Here's the IMEU. A key factor in determining the barrier's route was the location of settlements, thereby laying the groundwork for the de facto annexation of most of the settlements and much of their future expansion. The barrier thus became a major political instrument, furthering Israeli annexationist goals. Bro, it was literally to annex Palestinian land. And also, the reason that these attacks were happening on Israel, bro, is because Israel was annexing land in the first place. All of these people who say otherwise, they would not in any other context say, actually, it's okay to take land from people and expect no kind of violent response. These people are just liars. Yeah, 14-year-old. A 14-year-old. And not even just an adult, bro. He's fucking 24, 25, 26 years old. This was a scary time and deeply affected everyone. When you live in these conditions, your safety and comfort comes before outsiders. And because Israel had the power to protect itself, it did. This is a natural reaction from any country or even organism to protect its organism. He's describing Palestinians as like a virus because, like, if you're talking about organisms, I don't know, bro. That feels like a weird thing to say. To protect itself when under threat, even if it makes others outside suffer. That being said, there are many checkpoints and regulations that could be pulled back, but you must understand the paranoia and the relief that came with the wall. The relief that came with annexing Palestinian land. The loyalty oath is a fucking joke proposed by some nutjob tyrant named Lieberman, Avigdor Lieberman probably. I will explain this. Someone asked me where the liberal Israelis are. Well, in the last election, the Liberal Party won the majority of the popular vote. It was unfortunate, however, that the ultra-fascist party headed by this nutjob Lieberman was able to make a coalition with our current Prime Minister and head of the Likud party, brackets conservative, Netanyahu. Yeah, I know, just describing Palestinians as outsiders in their own homeland is crazy work. His videos as well, my friend Torres told me this. His videos just literally, like, he's known Ethan Klein for, like, years, and, like, so this, when, like, Ethan was first making videos was 14 years ago, so when we were, like, 13, 12 years old, I mean, I was younger, but he was just talking about what the videos were. It was just him eating Doritos in a nappy. It was unfortunate, however, that the ultra-fascist party, headed by this, Lieberman, who is now our Minister of Foreign Affairs, is an absolute nutfuck tyrant, and this loyalty oath is his brainchild. It is only being seriously considered now by Netanyahu, because he wants to throw him a bone, so that he may have a chance of proceeding with peace talks. About settlers, I think that at least 40% of the well-educated and moderately liberal population is opposed to the settlements. This is, by the way, the thing I was trying to argue with that idiot on TikTok before. When you sit there and you go, actually, when you sit there and you go, actually, most Israelis are against this, you are just offering a get-out-of-jail-free card. Because the truth is that in the state of Israel, most people don't care. Most people serve in the army. They don't do anything of conscience. People made major sacrifices during apartheid South Africa. Like the guy who lost his fencing career and so he blew up a nuclear power plant. Like, that happened. You don't see that kind of shit in Israel now, do you? And also, the Israeli military that his wife was in, that to this day he says he is proud of her doing, literally protects and serves the settlers. That's what she was doing in Ramallah. I don't care if these people who go, well, it might not be illegal because the raid might actually be legal and she might have been getting a terrorist. The thing is that, like, what Israel and what she was actually doing was upholding the apartheid structure and ensuring that Palestinians were not engaging in any form of resistance, whether that was militant or non-militant, like peaceful resistance. That's what the apartheid structure is about, protecting settlement and protecting Israelis going and taking their land. She's making me a bit sad. Israelis and Zionists are a victim of their government that is so fucking good at propaganda. I mean, the Israeli government is not that good at propaganda. It's just what they have played on is like Jewish people's feelings about a constant feeling of threat from society, which historically is true. Like, Western society had no place for that's where it comes from. They play off that. Hold on. Here you go. His name's Rodney Wilkinson. And the reason he did it, look. Said he was a collegiate fencing champion whose hopes of competing in the Olympic Games in the 1970s were crushed by international sanctions against the white-only government. I would have won a medal without a doubt, he said, telling his story over clattering of dishes in a restaurant. He just talks about this, how he joined a committee, he landed a job, and then basically he attacked this to help the ANC. And literally, his reasoning isn't bizarre. His reasoning is literally just, yeah, actually, I was gonna win a medal and I didn't win a medal. Like, if you made Israelis feel consequences for what they did, take away their sports, bro. Take away their slop. No more slop for the Israelis. Ban them. No slop for the Israelis. And we win. When I read stories about how Gaza is a death camp, we actually read this one already. Palestinian basically just means an Arab who is born in the region that is now Israel. There are many Palestinians that live in Israel with full citizenship. No, Ethan. Palestinian refers to the indigenous people who lived in that historic homeland. I'll repost that. Yeah, if you want to donate to a cause, there's a Mosen. Mosen is someone in Gaza, and there's a link there if anyone wants to donate. No more football, no more Olympics, no more anything for Israel. Take it all away. They're not having any of it. They shouldn't have any of it. When your country does genocide, you can't go, well, actually, we don't support it. Whilst every one of your government does these things. Just give them nothing. Give Israel nothing. Deny it to them. They shouldn't have it. If South Africa wasn't allowed it for practicing apartheid, by the way, South Africa wasn't destroying entire black townships on the basis of their ethnicity to try and remove them for settlement. Like, I guess once they put them on the Bantustans, they did do that before and relocated hundreds of thousands. But in terms of what Israel is doing, Israel is wiping away the Palestinian people. Cultural boycott Israel. 100%. 100% Israel should be culturally boycotted. I think we should give it back to the Canaanites. Otherwise we would call... But in the context at hand, it means a citizen/resident of the West Bank or Gaza Strip. Otherwise we would just call them Israeli Arabs or Arab Israelis. Listen, the Palestinian situation may be many things, but it is certainly not slavery, and it is certainly not Nazi Germany. These comparisons are just worthless, and just go to show how little you know, how little you care to learn, and how honesty doesn't do anyone justice. Certainly not the Palestinians that you are desperate to defend. Their situation is their own, and you don't need to make a bullshit parallel. Why not actually learn about their plight so you don't have to compare it to situations that it's not? Bro, you moved to Israel. You are saying this shit when you are literally someone who directly contributed to the oppression of Palestinians, who continually defends your wife, raiding Ramallah. And it's just like, it's this same barefaced audacity to be like, actually, I'd say what I want because I'm Israeli. Well, I don't know anyone who's a slave, but friends of my grandparents, blah, 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 blah. We've read this already. Pretty clear about what are Israel blatant intentions. They were instrumental for Nuremberg and have called for a similar effort today. You can attack me all you want. Israel will be remembered as a hateful state with systemic discrimination, and a Goodwin point is not comparing someone to Charles' systemic disproportionate killings. Palestinians are treated like subhumans. Oh, this is the person who Ethan was responding to. Not treated. The Palestinians are kept in the West Bank like guarded by Israelis. The way you have presented this picture is propaganda. This is a picture of people entering Israel from the West Bank, from the affluent city of Bethlehem. They have built this wall and set up checkpoints because it is important to make sure that terrorists cannot smuggle bombs. So you just get to destroy Palestinian lives whilst you bomb them. So ridiculous. What you cannot see is the huge wall, is the huge beautiful city right above the wall. Literally just like justifying destroying Palestinians' lives. First, things are extremely cheap in Gaza, so $1 a day is not as little as you would think. And all of these health issues you cite do not seem indicative of a country with a relatively high life expectancy. Second, Gaza is crushed under its own government. You want Israel to carry the burden of Gaza's plight, but why no mention of Hamas influence or Egypt's? Bro, it's the same shit. It's the same shit. Gaza is crushed under its own government. Just like, oh, you shouldn't talk about Israel blockading them. Their situation, their own. This guy is just the same as the Zionist propagandist. Same Zionist propagandist he is today. First, don't show me videos of these insane Zionist settlers that everyone in Israel hates. I could equally post a video of some rabid terrorist whining about another Holocaust upon Israel. So what? Because this is the government in Israel. It was the government then, and Israel still protected these settlers. When you ask me if I know who expelled the Palestinians from their land and into refugee camps, I assume you mean Israel. Please share with me your erudite knowledge of the history with some citations, please, so that I may educate myself. In January 2006 Palestinian parliamentary elections, Hamas won a decisive majority in the Palestinian parliament, defeating the PLO-affiliated Fatah party. Following the elections, the US and the EU halted financial assistance. I guess it doesn't matter that Hamas was democratically elected. Sure, Israel should funnel supplies to a government that confiscates any aid to use at their sole discretion, and whenever possible to use it to make weapons against Israel. Same thing. Same thing as today. Same thing as today. Truly, I don't deny that things could and should be better in Gaza. I wish Israel did more and ease the blockade, but you fail to see it from the Israeli perspective, who have been traumatized by the war and terror since its inception. You also refuse to acknowledge that the plight of Gaza is not entirely on the shoulders of Israel. Israel expelled them there. Israel expelled them there. Yeah, this guy was a snarker. He's evil. I hate Israel, and I'm a normal dude with family in Canada. I would love to see Israel as a post-nuclear smouldering glass hole in the ground. I honestly think it would make the world more peaceful in the long run. There are good people in Israel. A lot of them. I live in Israel. This isn't funny. Bro was making jokes about being a paedophile and touching children on his account, but was upset by someone saying that they wanted to see Israel destroyed. It's just so comical, isn't it? I agree that I don't think any nation on earth deserves to be nuked, and there are good people in Israel. It wasn't funny until you made the post with that username. It must also be considered ludicrous because Palestinians are integrated. Oh, we read this. Oh no, did you know there is an Arabic 5-star general in the Israel army? And Arabs who sit on the high courts in Israel, and that they have their very own political parties with equal vote. Yep, I'm sure apartheid South Africa would have allowed that. It is also far more ludicrous considering that Arabs in Israel enjoy more freedoms than those in all the other surrounding countries. What does this even mean, that they enjoy more freedoms than all other Arab surrounding countries? Because, I mean, they just don't enjoy freedoms in any of them. They're not allowed to protest. They're not allowed to do any of these things, you know. It's just ridiculous. Sorry, I'm just checking a message that I had. Goal fund. I mean, we've missed the goal, but thank you very much, Sophie, for the kind donation. Doesn't matter, though. The goal had no purpose or reason. It was just a goal. Go ahead and read about Arab citizens of Israel. I don't deny that there is some institutional racism, but comparing it to apartheid or Nazi Germany is hyperbolic garbage, and this is why Israelis get so defensive about this. Bro, you're American. You moved to Israel. You literally moved to Israel as an American. But yeah, that's pretty much everything that I want to cover out of this, I guess. But yeah, it's the same shit, you know. Barack Obama means police brutality and all of these things are done. Oh, there are black politicians in America, so it isn't like these things. It's just ridiculous. It's utterly ridiculous. Why is he using a pedo troll account to defend Israel? Bro, I don't think guessing what Ethan Klein thinks or is doing is in any way a good idea. This man has been deranged for many years. He is a very, very disturbed individual who is only enabled by multiple people around him who just let him do whatever. You know? Because he still justifies what Israel does and hides behind the idea that he cares about Palestinians, but yet still defends it, whilst Israel's still doing exactly the same things that they were doing then and has just ramped them up. It uses the same justifications that it used then, which are just as bullshit as they are now. The truth is Palestinians, some of them were always going to respond militarily to what Israel was doing, and then using that as a justification after Israel expelled them, ethnically cleansed them, denied them the right to live with dignity, is the power holder in that situation. It's so ridiculous, you know. It is 100% his account. It is 100% his account. Okay, right. Now let's move on to young Jewish boy Adam Friedland made cry by actually, quickly, we've got an update from General Bad Empanada. Everyone's got to sit down whilst he puppeteers the thing.
Something was
Hold on. Oh, fuck.
off as someone who's YouTube.
Oh, fuck.
That loaner box, everyone's favorite pro loaner.
Hold on 1 second. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck.
That loaner box,
Oh, fuck's sake, my thing's just loading. Okay, there we go. Right.
Something was recently brought to my attention. That loaner box, everyone's favorite pro-Israel genocide propagandist, Nassif Yunus from Scotland, that what he had to say about Gaza a couple of years ago, before the pro-Israel money started coming in. Now, loaner box is someone who was still a massive liberal Zionist, even before he started getting literally paid to do pro-genocide propaganda.
He made the most milquetoast Hasbara points, and there's no proof that his view has changed in a significant manner. Yeah, I mean, he just hid behind the idea that he was, like, you know, condemning Israel. But then I think it's ultimately, like, I guess this is what October the 7th really fully made so clear to people. That there are just people who are, that when it comes down to October the 7th and actually confronting what is happening, you know? Confronting what is happening in Gaza, it's just, they can't do it. Everyone trusting the plan. Of course we're trusting the plan. Of course we're trusting the plan. But yeah, he's just unwilling to change. He doesn't even talk about Gaza, ever. He never posts about it. Like, okay, granted, I cover slop on my YouTube stream. But also, I like, post a lot about Palestine on my... I talk about it on here, I post about it on my TikTok and all of these things. But yeah.
Even he, as a liberal Zionist, had to admit certain things about Israel beforehand that today he would never say. This is from my debate with him 3 years ago. In the post-debate part of his that I have previously never seen until now, he had something to say about Israel and Gaza. Even as a liberal Zionist who was whitewashing aristocracy, like this Zionist South African Israeli.
Idam's just had a banger tweet. Idam's had a really good tweet. It's my character. I'm the pedo troll. I come out and make pedophilic comments all over Reddit.
Who was openly supporting like the ethnic cleansing of Palestinians and saying that Israelis are right to move into the West Bank because they want their kids to have green space to run around in and stuff like that. He was defending her against me. But even he said this back then regarding genocide in Gaza. This is from May 2022. This is not post-October 7th. Listen.
The Israeli occupation of Palestine is fucking disgusting, okay? I think if someone wanted to describe it, the behavior in Gaza as like an incremental genocide, of course, yeah.
his now claim is that, do you know how he defends this? He defends it because he goes, I actually just started reading beyond the headlines, and that's how I started to understand Palestine. Bullshit. This guy is a liar. This guy is a grifter. He didn't know anything about settler colonialism. He cooked up the most dog shit, has bar a take on settler colonialism, and then refused to watch my video on it because he was like, oh, he just says a couple of things. But no, bro, you didn't know anything about settler colonialism. You didn't bother reading or engaging with it. You literally just did that. The only reason that he did that is to grift. Because he knows that the money will roll in from Israelis who are willing to just throw money at him for being that little fucking pro-Israel. And sorry about your ears.
It's fucking horrible.
So, in May 2022, Lorna Box thought that Israel was committing genocide in Gaza already, even then. Yet, post-October 7th, 2 years into the clearest genocide of our time, the most unambiguous genocide by far, in at least decades, at least since Rwanda, Lorna Box is openly saying it's not genocide. It was genocide for him in May 2022, but now it's not. What happened between then and now? Just to be clear that he does deny it's genocide. I mean, everyone fucking knows it does who watches his channel, but here's a video that I made, like, showing him denying the genocide a year ago, and he still denies it now. He posted a tweet in which he said, I don't think the war is a genocide. But in May 2022, he did think that Israel was committing genocide in Gaza, but not anymore. What happened between then and now to this liberal Zionist to flip him from Israel is committing genocide in Gaza in 2022 to I don't even think they're committing genocide in Gaza when they're massacring Palestinians in the hundreds of thousands? What happened? Well, could it be related to Lorna Box getting a paid Israeli government propaganda trip in which he was given privileged access to Israeli government propagandists, such as Elon Levy, who you can see him sitting down with and having a good laugh with?
Did Lorna Box and Destiny have sex with Elon Levy? I don't know that. I don't know it, but it is plausible. Maybe. I don't know.
Here and here. Could that be related?
That's not Elon Levy. That's Yosef Haddad. How do you not know this? Oh, idiot.
Could it be related to the fact that he is on record getting payments from Destiny's Zionist PAC, Progressive Victory, to the tune of $2,000 for advertising services? Could it be related?
I think Lorna Box just I don't even know why Lorna Box. Does anyone know why he stopped making YouTube videos? Because he actually had like quite a big YouTube channel, right? Like, you know, and he's been streaming for years now. Like, he used to have a very big YouTube channel.
To other undisclosed sources of funding that he has received, undisclosed gifts that he has received from Zionist organizations or directly from the Israeli state itself. Perhaps it could be. Perhaps it could be. Because I can tell you right now, I know YouTube, I know how much people get paid for this stuff, I know how lucrative this stuff is. I have 2 YouTube channels, which I actively upload to. I upload a video every single day on this second channel right here. And my videos average like 25,000, 30,000 views in a couple of weeks, I'd say. I also have a main channel where I upload like a video essay every month, and a Patreon where I have way more members than Lorna Box has on his. Lorna Box has not uploaded to his main channel in more than a year. Lorna Box very intermittently uploads to his streaming channel. He gets less viewers than me. His streaming VODs get like 10,000 views if we're very lucky. Have to ask, where's the money coming from? He is not making enough money organically from his channel to live where he lives in the UK. I can tell you that right now.
I don't know that that's true, you know, because he streams like 7 hours a day. Like, he streams 7 hours a day. He does regularly take breaks, but like, if you stream and have like a bit of extra, you know, like donations from, I don't even know if Lorna Box still uses Patreon. How much does he get on Patreon? Oh, he gets $500 a month. Yeah, I mean, that's not very much, but I mean, like, I'm able to live on what I earn, but
from view counts, Patreon size, the fact that I actively maintain 2 channels instead of 1, the fact that I get more stream viewers than him, I can tell you I'm probably making at least 3 to 4, maybe even 5 times as much money as he does from YouTube. But he's living in a place that is more expensive than the place that I live in. So where is the gap being filled? You know, who convinced him to basically ensure that his platform couldn't grow because he's just doing nothing but defending indefensible positions, like there's no genocide in Gaza, Israel is based actually.
Yeah, I suppose the thing is when you've been streaming for like many, many years and you cover the same slop stuff, I don't know.
You're all anti-Semitic if you don't think that a Jewish ethno-state is good. Who is paying him to post videos that get 5,000 views, spreading that sort of rhetoric? Who is keeping him afloat here? Because it's not his content in its own right. He was enticed to basically self-sabotage, to basically torpedo his own brand, his own potential as a content.
It is really mad as well, because Lonerbox did used to definitely get more off that YouTube channel where he talks about Palestine, you know. He does have another channel called Loner Unboxed where someone just makes fan-made channel clips of
creator to ever be independent by something behind the scenes. Otherwise, what he's doing could not be sustainable in the slightest. And I'm telling you that clearly here as someone who knows this stuff, as someone who's a YouTuber myself, who definitely makes significantly more of this than Lonerbox does organically, independently. You know, the money that I receive is from like Patreon and like YouTube ads. Lonerbox is getting almost nothing from those sources. So there's something behind the scenes that's keeping him incentivized to self-sabotage his channel. Like,
I mean, Taylor Lorenz did just talk about people being paid by the Democrats, but I don't think the Democrats are paying fucking Lonerbox. Maybe the Labour Party's interested in paying
this. Something that's paying him to go from 2022 Lonerbox saying that I'm a liberal Zionist, but there's still a genocide in Gaza, yeah, to 2025 Lonerbox saying, of course there's no genocide in Gaza, and those children shot in the head by Israel, perhaps they were combatants, actually.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Something has happened.
I suppose also Hutch is appealing in the sense of Hutch has an audience of people who aren't even interested in politics, you know.
Been there, and it's so plainly fucking obvious that Nassif Yunus here is a pro-Israel shill for pay.
Oh, I'm not sure you should be saying his name right. I don't know. Although, actually, you know one thing about his name. His name is actually said. They keep calling him Naz in the... they keep calling him Naz if you watch his stream stuff with Destiny when he was there.
Everyone knows that Nassif... Ha ha ha. You couldn't possibly make it more obvious.
People... Jesus Christ. Right. Hold on. That awesome video from Bad Empanada. Thank you for teaching us about Lonerbox and his ways. The Adam Friedland show. But like, also, I mean, just to make the average, like, be clear here. The money that the money in the UK, the average salary is like what, £36,000, I think. I mean, Lonerbox is actually quite old, to be fair. I think Lonerbox is like 30 plus, right? He's like 33. He's 34. Lonerbox's 34th birthday was recently, so he's 34 years old. I mean, I don't know. Who knows? But he's also, I don't know. He also has no kids or anything, so I guess you have like money. Right, now we've got TAFS.
I don't want to argue with you. If you want to question my ability to represent my district, I'm happy to show you what I do.
Be like, fuck you, I don't want to. I'm in a safe blue district, right?
People should judge me by my record, by the legislation I pass.
Yeah.
I work 7 days a week. I'm visible in my district. I'm on the ground. I'm happy to, if you ever want to.
You can live on 25k. Oh, you can 100% live on 25k. I'm an alcoholic who was a dick for liquor money, but you couldn't pay me to be in Israel show.
To take tours of my district, I'm happy to walk you through my districts.
Yeah, I mean, but what I mean is just like Lonerbox is just like that age and he's just doing YouTube content defending Israel. It's pretty crazy, bro. But then again, there are people who do it for wage, like Nick Matau. Nick Matau and like the ones who sit on TikTok Live all the day. Bro, TikTok Live you don't get paid fucking anything for. Like, they take all the money from what you get sent. And Nick Matau, no one watches him. Like, no one's watching Nick Matau's, like, videos. He just posts about... He's not even Jewish. This is genuinely one of the weirdest content creators out there. His real name... I mean, I know what his real name is. The Reverse Canary Mission haven't even got his real name right. I won't even post it. But he's getting, like, articles written about him in the Jewish Post. This guy's also paid, probably, by the way. I think he's probably paid by someone to do it.
Yeah, I'd like to. I've been to the zoo in Yankee City.
Right. Well, not the actual projects, not the amenities, not the institutions.
Yeah.
I can give you a sense of racially concentrated poverty.
Well, Adam may not be a commentator or anything, but he did manage to dunk very well on even Destiny, who's like someone who prides himself on debating by just going, like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm Jewish.
In a place like the Bronx.
So that's what my question is like...
Where do you live? Which borough?
I live in Brooklyn.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's my question. Like,
so
right?
you might be
like,
divorced from the experience of racially concentrated poverty.
But what does that have to do with taking money from blacks? Like, I just feel like that's a deflection.
Well, I think
and I don't want to
no, because
I don't want to cut like an argument right now. I don't want to argue with you.
If you want to question my ability to represent my district, I'm happy to show you what I do. I'm happy to bring you to my district.
What I'm calling into
and introduce
question
you to my constituents.
What I'm calling into question is the institution, right? I'm calling into question the system, and you're functioning within a system, right?
I've received contributions from tens of thousands of people. I can't keep track of every person. I'm not responsible for every person.
You forgot.
I'm only responsible for what I do.
Okay. So
I mean, you can play the gotcha game, but that's not.
I'm not trying to play the gotcha game. I think you're used to like Anderson Cooper 360, and I'm from Cumtown Podcast.
I'm happy to answer.
Who doesn't love the Cumtown Podcast? Adam seems like an asshole. I don't know if he comes across as like that much of an asshole.
Whatever question you have.
Yeah, whatever. Here's a question for you. I think you've established yourself as the fiercest champion of the state of Israel in Congress.
I've never described myself in those terms.
I'm
pro-Israel, but those are terms.
Well, I think maybe you've been dubbed that.
Yes.
Okay. Listen, like, I'm a Jewish person.
Yeah,
I have my own opinions on this. You have your own opinions, and this is a really frustrating conversation to see people have on the internet. I don't get an opportunity to talk to someone that's making decisions and supporting these things that are a huge deal to people right now.
Sure.
Yeah. One thing that I thought was interesting, and I want to start with you, is that you described your first trip to Israel in 2015 as a life-changing experience. And
Bro, anyone who describes going to Israel as a life-changing experience is just genuinely a liar.
Just wanted to follow the narrative of like you growing up and your struggles and then going into the government. Like, what was that experience like, and what bred that passion for Israel in you?
Well, since I grew up poor my whole life, I never had an opportunity to travel abroad.
Yeah.
So the first time I ever
free trip
went to a foreign country.
So it was life changing because you went on a trip.
Part of the reason went abroad for the first time, life changing. But also, when you experience the complexity of Israel, you go to the old city.
What did you see? Like, what did you witness? Like,
well, go to the old city.
Yeah. I've been there.
Yad Vashem, which is the Holocaust Museum.
Yeah.
Go to the Messiah.
I didn't say a 34-year-old is too old to be making TikToks or anything, but what I'm saying is that Lonabox is just someone who's like thrown away his career at this point just to defend Israel at this age. It's kind of crazy.
Where Jews committed mass suicide to escape enslavement.
Of course, I've hiked up Masada.
The Gaza envelope.
Yeah.
Went to Sderot, spoke to the local mayor who said that.
You went to Gaza?
I did not go to Gaza. No.
Would you say Gaza envelope?
No, Gaza envelope, which is right on the border with. It's Israel, but it's right at the border with Gaza. So.
He got a free trip because he was an American politician or a hopeful, and he realized that one of the ways that he might be able to probably stay in power is by just supporting Israel unequivocally. Because the truth is that, like, look, when you support Israel, the other reason it's beneficial for your career is because, look, you will be attacked if you will be attacked if you lift your head up. But if you don't lift your head up, if you don't say anything about Israel, you will be getting if you don't say anything about Israel, you won't get in trouble. But if you say positive things, bro, you're getting supported.
Right next to the fence.
Yeah, it's in the proximity to.
What's at the Gaza envelope?
Like
I've never heard that term before.
Sderot.
Yeah, with the rockets.
Yeah.
Going in. Yeah.
Yeah.
How far is Sderot from Gaza? It's like a mile or something.
Yeah, within a mile.
Yeah. It's right next to it.
Yeah, striking proximity.
Tough.
Yeah.
It's a small place.
Yeah.
The whole thing. Yeah.
I mean, that's why Hamas was able to so easily penetrate on October 7th.
By getting over the fence.
Yeah, and it's so close.
Yeah. No, I mean, I just want to know because it seems like it was powerful,
Yes.
and it seems like it's informed.
Yeah, the Gaza envelope is just a horrible euphemism for like a buffer zone where you're basically surveilling Palestinians by existing there, you know? And you're living on the people. Like, it's like just describing it that way. You are literally living on the land of the people who live in a way too densely populated place where they're cut off from the rest of the world because you took their land.
Your record, and I that's what's interesting to me. It's like your story and how you got here, and like I think it's narratively what fascinates me.
Maybe one day you'll give me a chance to tell it. So.
Why are you annoyed by this question?
I'm kidding. So I spoke to the local mayor of Sderot.
Yeah.
And he said to me that the majority of his children struggle with post-traumatic stress because families like his live under the threat of relentless rocket fire. And I remember seeing these bus stops doubling as bomb shelters. You know, I come from the Bronx where people live in fear of bullets and guns, but you know, we in America do not worry.
Just thought I'd do a little bit of research on this guy. Alon Davidai is the mayor of Sderot. He's been it since 2013, so he said his first trip was in 2015, so that means who he's meeting. We swore to you, Niv Dakalim, an ex-settlement in Gaza, we will return. Rolandin, an Israeli pastries and desserts chain. Eliyahu hummus shop coming soon. Municipal election campaign. Alan. Oh, sorry. So this is this is settlers in Gaza, but this is someone who supports him posting about how like inside the Gaza Strip. I'm just trying to find stuff about Alon Davidai. That's my mistake. That's not actually him. He was actually a member of Likud at that point, though, still. I can't find anything about this guy.
Worry about Canada and Mexico firing rockets into American homes and communities. You know, we're a country of 330 million people. We're surrounded by oceans, and Israel's a tiny democracy the size of New Jersey that's literally surrounded by both state and non-state actors that are intent on wiping it off the map. So, you know, I left Israel with an empathy for the unique security situation that Israel faces.
Did you visit the occupied territories while you were there?
I went into the, not Gaza, but I went into the Palestinian Ramallah. So.
Yeah, Ramallah.
Yeah.
And what did you see when you were there?
You know, we spoke to Palestinians who obviously have a much more critical view of Israel. And
that didn't resonate as much as, like, what was your takeaway from hearing?
Look,
you're hearing the mayor of Sderot, his children have PTSD, and then this guy's like, Israel's screwing with me.
Well, look, I'm in favor of a two-state solution.
Sure.
I feel like the just outcome lies.
By the way, like, literally just hearing someone who is, like, like, unequivocally pro-Israel saying this kind of stuff about, like, oh, I'm pro-two-state solution, just tells you how much bullshit it is. Here's someone just, like, parroting every Zionist talking point and says he's pro-two-state solution.
Lies not in the existence of a Jewish state to the exclusion of a Palestinian state, or the existence of a Palestinian state to the exclusion of a Jewish state. It's the coexistence of both. So I think I want to see the struggle, both the Israeli and the Palestinian struggle for self-determination to be reconciled in the form of a two-state solution.
Here we go. Israel mayor calls for Gaza neighborhoods to be wiped out. If they launch rockets from a certain area, the entire neighborhood must be wiped out. Alon Davidi told Army Radio yesterday. The entire area must be exterminated. I mean, we must work systemically.
A big topic nowadays is campus anti-Semitism.
Yeah.
You've spoken out against it. I just want to know what you identify as the examples of this type of anti-Semitism in elite academic institutions.
Yeah, so there were students at a...
Here we go. This is the kind of things that Alon Davidi is saying. Every inhabitant of Gaza is ISIS. They must all be hit. I have no pity for them. Those who live there, 2 million people are Nazis. It's an area of Nazis and ISIS that gives total support to Hamas and Jihad. And as far as I'm concerned, every resident of Gaza is Hamas, and we need to hold them accountable. This is a feeling shared by his residents. This is the guy who Ritchie Torres was meeting with and said, like, inspired him to support Israel.
CUNY Halal.
Yeah.
Where you had a violent, what I thought was an aggressive mob following them to a kosher restaurant in the heart of New York City. And
what were they doing, the mob? What was the mob doing?
Just following them, and then barricaded the restaurant, and
they were like chanting?
hurled insults at the patrons and slamming the windows. You know, much of it is captured in video footage.
Yeah.
And, you know, harassing people simply for being pro-Israel Jews, to me, is wrong.
Is there any other examples? Like,
harassing people for being pro-Israel Jews is wrong. Yeah, harassing people is wrong. But now you're basically, what he's actually describing is not anti-Semitism, but people having a problem with Israel. Because he would get harassed as well, not because people hate Jewish people, but because he is a Zionist.
There's a restaurant. I mean, it's just like, all we're hearing about is campus anti-Semitism, radical. Like, is there a link between Hamas and the protests? Like, is that established?
Well, there are students who have faced harassment and intimidation because of their beliefs. There are students who feel inhibited from expressing their Jewish or Zionist identity.
Like, literally, just listen to him talk. Zionist or Jewish identity, two different things.
Because of the atmosphere of intimidation or harassment on college campuses. You should speak to this.
How have they...
People should feel intimidated from expressing Nazi and racist beliefs.
Denying that there's any campus anti-Semitism? Or?
Well, I'll give you an example. I know a younger person that went to UCLA and was attacked, and is Jewish, and was with a group of Jewish people at a protest, and they were attacked by the Proud Boys.
Okay, that's an anti-Semitic incident.
No, but the Proud Boys were there for Israel. And those are the guys that did
the
Charlottesville.
The Proud Boys are there for Israel?
Yeah.
I think of the Proud Boys as like white nationalists and white supremacists.
I'm telling you right now.
Who are anti-Israel, but okay.
Listen, I'm like a comedian, right? Like, I hate when comedians, especially on the internet, like, speak from a position of authority with, like...
Oh, yeah. No, philo-Semitism is a real term that you should use to describe some of these people. Like, I don't think it's an inappropriate term or a term that you hate. Like, these people who, like, create, like, a fake love for Jewish people. Like, it's not appropriate, it's not normal, and it's not actually in the good interest of, like, Jewish people as a whole. This is just straight-up support of the state of Israel. This is just support for the state of Israel and using anti-Semitism and a pretend love for Jewish people when it's obviously no care for Jewish people.
About crap that they don't know about, you know? This is one topic I feel like I can speak on. And
I'm quite upset to find out that Hila Klein, people calling Hila Klein Apak Shakur, is not the origin of Apak Shakur, and that he was actually called Apak Shakur first, or was Hila Klein called Apak Shakur first?
On college campus anti-Semitism?
No, on anti-Semitism and
in general, because you haven't been in college how long? Probably 2 decades, right?
I'm telling you, on my experience of anti-Semitism the last 2 years. But the last 2 years have felt different in America. And I don't know if you've been on Twitter recently. Now, a ton of people are questioning the validity of the Holocaust having happened.
Yes.
Can you tell me with a straight face that those are the 18-year-old kids at Columbia that are doing that?
The 18-year-old kids at Columbia?
Are they doing those posts about the Holocaust never having existed? You know who's doing it.
No, we disagree here.
You think that it's the...
It's also so funny. It's like people highlighting that, as I said earlier, it's like people highlighting the guy who doing the shooting yesterday. Yeah, that guy had some anti-Semitic shit on there, but he said Israel must fall. But people who are actually against Israel are not saying the N-word openly. People who are actively against Israel on the basis of it being a genocidal ethno-state and against it because of its treatment of Palestinian people are not racist. because what they're actually arguing for is a better world.
You don't put words in my mouth.
It's people on the right. Let me tell you.
You're suggesting that there's. You're suggesting there's no. You're suggesting there's no one on the far left that denies the Holocaust, or downplays the Holocaust. That's an.
On the far left, no. People generally don't downplay the Holocaust who are on the far left. You have to go so far left and I mean, I don't believe in the horseshoe theory. Like, I really don't think that there are like far left-wing people who deny the Holocaust, because it's true, it happened.
What are you're doing moot court right now? I'm telling you what it's like to be my experience being Jewish.
Yeah, but there are others who have a different.
I'm trying to see you're. Why is what?
And the reason they have a different experience is because they're like ultra Zionists and Adam Friedland is not. Like, you know what? Like, Adam Friedland can be pretty libbed out on Israel, in my understanding. I've heard someone say that. But, like, at the same time, he's clearly knows that Israel is wrong. And he's not someone like Ethan who just says buzzwords and is like, yeah, everything's fine.
Better than the other? Why is one more important than the other? I'm trying to share with you. You're in the government. I don't get a chance to talk.
Of course.
Like, Adam Friedland is not someone who's used his platform to defend Israel, unlike Ethan Klein. So that's why the two of them have different experiences.
Okay? I think hatred of Jewish people has exploded in this country. And
that was exactly what I was explaining to that guy. Of course, when Israel does all of these bad things and people are just like, and our governments just continually allow them to keep on doing it, and people have to watch children being killed, some people are going to have inappropriate reactions to the genocide because they don't have, you know, like a full understanding of what's happening, and they'll fall down a rabbit hole and end up saying, like believing horrifying things. And of course, there will always be people like Nick Fuentes, Sneeko, who look to profit off that. And by virtue of just giving unequivocal support to Israel, you feed that. Like, fucks like this guy feed that.
I don't think it's... I think it's because it's of our support of what looks to be an absolute brutality. And I think that...
You think that's a justification for anti-Semitism?
Here's the thing.
You think Israeli government policy is a justification for anti-Semitism? My view is there's no justification for anti-Semitism.
I think that...
There's zero justification for anti-Semitism.
Okay, you're deflecting.
But there's justification for explaining why Palestinians deserve to die and supporting mass murder, but yet your manufactured view of Jewish feelings, of like Jewish Zionist feelings, by the way, not even like Jewish feelings about genuine anti-Semitism rising, because here's someone who's Jewish talking about that, you're literally just defending Zionists, and that justifies killing Palestinians.
Okay.
I'm not deflecting. That's my position.
What does it look like to have a flag with a Jewish star and I'm Jewish? And for kids to be starving right now? Why is my government... I don't want to do this fight. Let's not do like a yelling at each other thing. I really just... For me, I had the experience of...
It just sounds like you're justifying anti-Semitism, which making me feel...
Are you crazy right now?
Okay.
Why would I do that? You're doing the I'm Hamas thing?
I'm not saying you're Hamas.
I mean, do any of you actually know, like, how crazy the Hamas support network is? The Hamas support network is like something cooked up by Project Esther, and it's just like unbelievable. It's like unbelievable. It's basically like, yeah, Hamas, you know someone who does this kind of protest, who knows this person, and therefore you're all Hamas. Like, it's real. This is real shit that these people believe.
But I'm not, I think
we'll
there should be...
We'll do a different tack.
Israeli government policy should have no bearing on... If you have disagreements with the Israeli government, you should voice your criticism of the Israeli government. But there is no justification for intimidation or harassment against American Jews.
I'm telling you as a Jew right now that
this is like, I was actually talking to this Jewish creator called Jews for Palestine. Hold on, I'll see if I can find it for you. That Nick Matau guy that I referenced, who is not Jewish, by the way, he is a Mexican man who was adopted by a Hawaiian family. He made a video where he said of an actual Jewish person, oh, he's one of those as a Jew creators. And it's just like, bro, that's like grossly inappropriate. You are not Jewish.
3% of everyone in Gaza killed so far has been civilian.
Yeah, so an English kid as a Jew and an Armenian were...
As a Jew? Bro, you're not Jewish. You are not a Jewish guy. Like, these people think they have the right to say these things to actual Jewish people going, oh, you're an as a Jew kind of person. That's not appropriate. That is not appropriate.
We are receiving a lot more hate because of what the people with a flag that has a Jewish star on are doing to other people right now.
That might be
and I'm telling you, as a Jewish person, how painful it is for us to say, and it hurts my stomach to say this. So you're going to say, I disagree.
Good impression. I disagree.
That this is a genocide. And that hurts to say that a Jew could do that. It hurts because we grew up with learning about what hatred is.
Do you know this is an interesting thing about Israel as well? Because I don't know if any of you know this, but like Israelis spitting on Christians is common. Like Israelis spitting on Christians is common in Jerusalem. Like it's something that you can watch happen. But the actual tradition of spitting on Christian symbols from Jewish people was not actually like a hatred for Christian people. It came when Jewish people were in the diaspora and were being murdered by Christians and taunted and subjected to violence on the basis of their Jewishness. And so that's why it actually comes from. And you look at this inversion today, it's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous and such a change from what it was and just becoming the people who once did those kind of things to you, and people like Ritchie Torres justify that. Do you condemn Adam Friedland? Of course I do. This guy's Hamas.
We grew up learning about this. And the same year the state of Israel was established, in 1948, the world saw the Holocaust and they established standards for what a genocide is. It was the same year. And the world said that this shouldn't be a thing that happens, And I just wonder, it doesn't make sense to me,
I mean, the institute of the guy who coined the word genocide, Raphael Lemkin, if you look at what he actually said, it's pretty similar. He talks about things like the weaponization of starvation, the destruction of culture, and all of these things, I
don't know. It doesn't track to me why there's this fixation with kids at a school and two examples of people at a restaurant that there was banging.
Two examples. I mean, they're
exactly. This is what he said to me. This is what Abdul Razak Takriti said in the thing which I pulled up before. When he talks to me about it, when Abdul Razak Takriti talks to me, he's like, how dare you talk about Jewish feelings, and not even Jewish feelings, Zionist feelings, whilst this is what's happening in Gaza.
There are surveys on it. Read the ADL surveys on it. Because
it's hard.
The ADL literally counts everything as anti-Semitism. Also, funny how this man actually complicit in genocide is pretty similar to Ethan Klein in terms of talking points.
It's hard for me to talk about this in public because you're being a dick. That's mean.
No. I'm not being mean. I'm just clear it's an emotional topic.
All right, I'll share with you what happened.
I'm not.
I lived there.
I don't intend to be mean. So.
Sir, I lived there when I was 18, and I grew up a Zionist. And we were told, and our whole community in this country is told, that we have to defend Israel and love Israel because it will stop at the Holocaust. It will stop another Holocaust from happening.
I think some of the best writing on this is by Boaz Evron, who's literally just there were states who had armies and were still genocided. Who was still genocided. And yes, Lemkin's definition is broader. It's just I haven't read all that much of Lemkin, I've read bits and pieces. And someone wrote about him really well. I think it was Adam Tooze. I want to see if I can find it. As he shows, deliberate starvation, which was at the heart of Raphael Lemkin's original discussion of genocide, born out of Nazi occupation of Poland in the 1940s, was subsequently marginalized in our 20th century understanding of the horror. He talks about the destruction of communities as a means to do throughout genocides,
Happening, and my dad was born in 1951. That was 6 years after these atrocities. His friends' parents, he knew these people that had been through this hell, these skeletons. And it terrified us. And the understanding in our community is that we have to defend Israel. But I lived there, and I went to a settlement at the end of my year there, and I looked down the hill at a Palestinian village, and I saw how they lived, and I turned back and I looked at the settlement and saw how they lived. And people live in a world where they're demeaned and dehumanized and surveilled constantly by people and this isn't in Gaza, by people in SWAT team outfits.
Adam probably supports plasticine action. Prison for Adam Friedland!
With semi-automatic weapons and that.
But also, by the way, all of that stuff with Palestine Action is so stupid as well, because today, they've basically just set up a new Palestine Action. It's now just called Stop Arming, and they'll just do it locally. Stop Arming Israel Sheffield. They're now blocking the weapons companies to send F-35s to Israel. Like, what is this? And now these groups are going to grow in support.
That's what the world is seeing. And you keep telling me that the problem is someone's getting yelled at a restaurant? I'm sorry.
You're conflating two different issues.
Adam is being too nice. What, do you think he should have just shot Ritchie Torres on set? Like the Joker. That would be Adam Friedland's masterpiece. Like, what is it the Joker says? He's like, in that film, he's like, is that funny? Joker shoots Robert De Niro. His name's Murray, isn't it? How about another joke, Murray? It's like this is the full circle of Cumtown. Actually, I definitely can't show this. That'll definitely get it demonetized if I just show a clip from the Joker.
Just, please. Me saying this to you right now will hurt people in my own family, okay?
I'm a lot like the Joker. Well, Adam is a comedian. He's a funny guy who's mentally disturbed and... yeah, he has his Lady Gaga, his fierce queen, the woman who does the other horrible podcast, the like white nationalist one that Peter Thiel's interested in, Red Scare.
Because this is a very important thing to us, and the fact that I still fucking care about being Jewish is embarrassing. I should just be a guy. But this is
I'm not sure I would agree with that. I think there is a reason to want to preserve your culture that so many, European regimes have wanted to destroy and, oppress and not allow you to have. And I think there's a certain element of resistance. And this is kind of what is spoken about in the No State Solution, who I can't remember, as Daniel Boyarin talks about. He's kind of he draws on Fanon, and he's like, why do you just want to accede to the demands of the white man? Like, why do you just want to accede to the demands of the white man and just be like them and just do what they want and become this racist right-wing piece of shit, you know? Is that really all Judaism was ever destined for? No. It spits on a tradition of anti-racist, anti-colonial, anti-racist, left-wing Judaism that is a tradition within the Jewish faith that is now, people like Ritchie Torres think they have the audacity and the right to spit on. Which is you don't know anything about this. You literally just want to go, oh, free Israel money. I want to feel important. I want to keep my job, so I'm going to go justify genocide as a Puerto Rican, and I'm going to get paid heavily for it.
It's like a stain on our history. And it feels like it's changed what being Jewish is. Because what being Jewish isn't Israel. Judaism has existed for 4,000 years. This is a country for 75 years.
100%. 100%. And these people who are like, well, Israel existed. No, it didn't. Not as a nation state doing this. It did not exist. Yeah, Bundists. I mean, my favourite Jewish scholar who wrote something which I've never actually fully really read. I've looked at bits of it because it was the second choice for our reading. But Walter Benjamin is Walter Benjamin and the Arcades. Someone said that it was one of the, perhaps the most important, it could have been, if it was finished, the Arcades project, a really important critique of, society. It's about, arcades in France. I didn't really understand it when I read it, I'll be honest. But Walter Benjamin is, an amazing philosopher. The Angel of History, I'm not so sure about, but, art in the age of, the work of art in the age of mechanical reproduction is fantastic. It's, fantastic. And, you just spit on that in favor of, look at this, though. The Chad Adam Friedland versus the Ritchie Torres sat like this.
You know,
Could this be anti-Semitic coded? This looks like that trope, that like anti-Semitic image that people post. Could Ritchie Torres be impersonating that to mock a young Jewish boy, Adam Friedland, who he has just made cry? It is plausible. It is plausible.
It is the oldest, one of the oldest monotheistic religions. Anti-Semitism is one of the oldest forms of hatred. People in my life are going to be mad at me about this, but I'm saying this because I am Jewish. You know, and I don't understand why you would be.
Look how you define.
I want to have.
I feel like I'm here to be lectured, not.
Shut up. That's not nice. You can't talk that way. Why are one set of Jews more important than others?
No one's saying any.
What happened? You went to the beach in Israel? What? You went to a restaurant or something? A nice restaurant?
No.
Like, listen.
Never even been to the Tel Aviv Pride Parade. So
this is the year 2025.
Yeah.
The world is seeing something that looks terrible, and it's being done in my name, and I don't know what to do.
But the war began on October 7th.
No, it didn't.
Yes, it did.
When
Hamas systematically murdered.
Systematically murdered. Oh, that's just ridiculous, isn't it? By the way, I just want to note on this, I think I mentioned it yesterday, go on the victims of October the 7th and do what Israel does for justifying killing a journalist. Look at how many of them in their obituaries reference, they served in the Israeli military, they did this. Their argument for killing Anas al-Sharif was formerly in Hamas, that he was part of the Jabalia directory. He, of course, was not an active militant in Hamas, not possible with the amount that he was on camera. They justified it. He would justify that. Ritchie Torres would fucking justify that. He supports a country that does that. And yet he says Israelis were systemically slaughtered on October the 7th. Liar. Liar. He doesn't believe that. He doesn't feel that way. He says this because he is a paid-up propagandist shill who knew that he could never win an election without the support and the financial backing that he gets from not lifting his head up on Israel, because he's uncharismatic and boring. I think Scotland prosecutor of Fiscal has delayed prosecution because I think they want to see how the whole thing pans out in England. Oh, I think they'll have to reverse the Palestine action stuff. I genuinely do.
And you want.
Okay.
Look, we're going down a rabbit hole. We fundamentally disagree.
No.
But Hamas murdered and maimed.
No, you're doing the
and
TV
mutilated
thing. Don't do
and
TV.
abducted and tortured thousands of people. That's not television. That's a fact. That's reality. You can deny it.
I also love how he needs to say that. I love how he needs to say that. It's always these people. They note the brutality, the techniques of killing that happen. The techniques of how this happened when it comes to when it comes to Israelis, but nothing about the thing that he's unequivocally supported and enabled.
I'm denying October 7th.
Well, you seem to be
You're
trivializing
doing the I'm
it,
pro
so.
October 7th. You're doing I'm pro Hamas.
I never said you were pro Hamas. You're putting words in my mouth.
It is.
But you seem to be downplaying it.
There, for the last 17 years, people have been under a blockade where they cannot leave. If you were born in a place and there's a fence there and there's a guy with a gun on the other side and he says you can't go anywhere, would you like that guy? If you treat people like animals, sometimes they're going to lash out.
Look, I sincerely believe, maybe I'm wrong, that if Palestinians were governed not by a terrorist organization like Hamas in Gaza, but by a regime that was able and willing to make peace with Israel, the situation would be fundamentally different.
The preconditions for this happening are undeniably something that the Israeli government was fully aware.
It was like earlier when that guy asked me about, like, would you justify Native Americans going in and killing, just mass killing white people? And it would be like, no, because in that context, like, sure, Native Americans historically have been oppressed and they have been subjected to so much violence, and they have a right to take to have land back, to receive justice and respect in the society and the land that is ultimately theirs, that was destroyed by European settlers who came over. But what differs in the context of Palestine is that Palestinians, their land is actively being settled by settlers. It is being taken from them. Israel has a frontier open. It is a space of violence. When frontiers open, when frontiers are But actually, you know what? If there was like a group of Native Americans who were going to military bases and were like, we're doing this insurgency and launching this insurgency for justice for all the Native Americans who are oppressed and all of these things, I would not care. I would not be sat there like, oh, fuck this. But if you're talking about just like mass killing people in towns, no, I'm not so sure about that, like just civilians. And yes, of course, Hamas wasn't in power, but in the context of Palestine, you have an open frontier, which is like a situation where what I'm saying is, in a military logic, I'd say that's more justifiable in the context of Native Americans, but it isn't going to happen because that's not something that's going on. But also, it would be different in the context of, I guess you could say America's frontier is still open in some ways, but no, actually, the frontier is closed of settlement of Palestinian land.
Aware of. Why would Bibi Netanyahu... Okay, here's the question.
Do you think October 7th was justified?
No.
Okay, I'm happy you said that.
Are you listening to what I'm saying right now?
I am listening to what you're saying.
But just what I'm saying is the context of the Native Americans and Palestine is different. The context of Native Americans and Palestine is just different in the sense of the American frontier is much more of a global thing now. Yes, Native Americans are still being oppressed and mistreated. But in the context, of course, I literally just said that before you put that in, Lemon Mint Cat. Like, Native Americans are treated incredibly poorly. Like, that, I do not disagree with you, and natives are subjected to violence and dispossession, but it is not the same context of, like, an expanding frontier. Nat Turner killed civilians while fighting. Yeah, and I wouldn't spend my time saying Nat Turner's the evil bad guy who's a monstrous savage when the people he was killing were the ones who... supported and engaged in slavery, and that's the context of which it existed in. I would always say, like, that's why that happened. It's not about, like, saying, oh, I think killing civilians is awesome. I don't think it is killing civilians. It's like, we should just be like, yes, they killed some civilians. But what you do says, do you not see why this happened? You oppress those people, and that is the return of violent ideologies. And in fact, in the context of Native Americans, even if Native Americans did that, I would still say, well, Native Americans aren't barbaric savages. This exists within the context of what America has done and continues to do to Native Americans.
Why would the Israeli government... Hamas wants to eradicate the Jewish people and the Jewish state? Is that right?
That's what Hamas has said, yeah.
Okay. Then why would they directly give Hamas money, literally bags of cash in suitcases through the Qataris? Nearly, I think, over $1 billion in cash during this last 17 years.
That's a fair point. It's a great question.
I love how that's just like a great question, that's it. I just want to see if I can find something here. Here's Ahmed Sheikh Yassin, the founder of Hamas, talking.
ما بنطلبش أكتر من حقنا. إحنا ما بنكره اليهود وبنقاتل اليهود لأنهم يهود. اليهود أهل دين وإحنا أهل دين. إحنا بنحب كل أهل الأديان. أخويا هذا اللي من أمي وأبويا اللي دينه مسلم. إذا أخذ بيتي وطردني منه أنا بقاتله. أنا بقاتل أخويا بقاتل ابن عمي إذا أخذ أرضي وبيتي وطردني فلما اليهودي يأخذ أرضي وبيتي وطردني منها تمام.
Is that we have an ability to stop Zionism and the entire population is wiped out, as it was for many Native American groups. I think he's saying that the colonial project of the US is at far further stage than the Zionist project. I mean, yes, and also, by the way, the context of the frontier is a specific thing within settler colonialism. The frontier of settlement, the frontier of settling Palestine, the frontier of settling land, taking it away from the indigenous people in terms of a movement where there is like unsettled land, basically, that is kept within like a legal space of ambiguity intentionally by the settler project to be dispossessed from the native, is not going on in America. America may still be dispossessing natives. America still may be engaging in these things, and there may be context, but there is not a mass open frontier. In the context of America, what America did is they closed the frontier largely in order to exterminate the Native Americans through other means, such as blood condoms and any of these things.
أنا ما بقاتل أمريكا ولا بريطانيا ولا دول أخرى. أنا كل الناس معهم بسلام. بحب كل الناس وبحب الخير لكل الناس. كمان بحب الخير لليهود. واليهود عاشوا معنا.
I'm sure that there are other members of Hamas saying different things or who have said different things throughout time, but ultimately that is one of the key co-founders of it.
One of those kids at Columbia wrote a $5 check to Hamas. You'd say send them to Gitmo for being a terrorist.
It's a fair point.
Does that make Benjamin Netanyahu a terrorist? He's supporting terror.
The United States, it seems to me, the United States and Israel could have shut off the spigot and did not do so. I don't know why, but that was a failure. There's no question.
I think that what I see is the reason why our government provides $25 billion to something that looks this horrific to people.
Do you know that they killed Sheikh Yassin with like an attack helicopter?
I think is the same reason.
And he was just like an old guy in a wheelchair. Kofi Annan condemned the killing.
I think it makes it look like that the Jews control the government, but really what it is the more boring answer. It's the reason why the government and you guys don't get shit done. It's the reason why Sandy Hook could happen. You guys can't do gun reform.
Yeah, I mean, on the question of whether a frontier is open, I think it's also more of like a phase within a settler colonial project where you also see like mass settler violence and all of these things. But in the context of America, you're not really seeing the same thing as once was happening at the frontier in that period. And I do believe that this violence is still happening, but the frontiers of like what was happening then is different fundamentally to what's happening now.
It's because
why can't we do gun reform?
Because
But that doesn't mean that colonization and policies of extermination and marginalization of the natives have ended in any way, and nor should that be minimized.
Special interest groups can buy.
But Israel does have an open frontier of like growing itself massively into Palestinian territory.
Influence in our government.
Well, which political party is against gun reform?
The NRA has a power.
It's the Republican Party.
We allow our government to be flooded with cash and money. And what's scary to me is that it looks that people are starting to question the Holocaust ever happening. How could Jews, maybe they invented the Holocaust?
You're blaming Israel for Holocaust.
So here's a writing of... So this is Wolf from 2016. The frontier is a way of talking about the historical process of territorial invasion, accumulative depredation, through which depredation, through which outsiders recurrently advance on the natives in order to take their place. That's from Sabah Khouri's Colonizing Palestine.
Cost denial.
I'm blaming our government for supporting a genocide. But it is unfathomable in my heart, and it breaks my heart that we could be capable of it.
I think we should move on.
Why is that?
We just fundamentally disagree. So
I think I'm talking to you like about where I come from and that it feels different, and maybe I have a different perspective.
You have a different perspective. But I know people who have a perspective that's different from yours.
Yeah, 100% on the topic of gun reform. Like, it's just very obvious that gun reforms are the major problem. And yeah. I'm not denying as in that's happening, that like Native Americans are being dispossessed. I just think the period of frontier settlement, as you would talk about it in the context of settler colonialism, is not necessarily the same as it was then as it is today. But I don't know if people include oil within the frontier. Maybe that's just a lack within Wolf's work or the work I've Sorry, I feel like I'm having two conversations here. There are people who talk about it in other contexts, so maybe you could consider it still the frontier.
Yeah.
With a much smaller platform than you.
I'm not. I hate this conversation.
I know.
You know, I have it with my family. You know, it's not something, and I love my family.
If it were up to me, we would not be having this because we're speaking a foreign language.
My family grew up in South Africa, right? we were like Jews from Eastern Europe that literally we thought we were going to Ellis Island. My grandma, all the grannies stayed. And my parents' whole generation of South African Jews left. And when I was a kid, like growing up, I used to write all my who's my hero essays on Nelson Mandela. And he was like a hero of mine, right? And he was also, in prison, and for terrorism too. I don't want to get it. You're gonna go Hamas is what I don't want. I'm not debating Hamas is good. He was called that, and he went to my synagogue after he got out of prison, Madiba, and he spoke to like all the grandmas who like were still there. They didn't have to fucking move because black people could vote. And he said, "Tell your kids to come back because we need them to build our country." I don't know. I think that I don't see what's wrong with people being afforded the right to vote.
Do you think that's what Hamas means when it says free Palestine from the river to the sea?
To me, it seems like maybe if there's a recognition that people were cleared off their land in 1948.
But there are those who only want a Jewish state, and there are those who only want a Palestinian state.
Then they could fuck off.
And we should be advocating for the coexistence of a Jewish state and a Palestinian state.
Why can't
I continue to believe the two-state solution ultimately is the inevitable path forward.
It's stupid.
There were 1,000 Jews who were murdered before the establishment of Israel, like a half a century before the establishment of Israel.
That's also such a funny fucking statistic to bring up in the context of 6 million Jews were murdered by Europeans.
1,000 Jews.
Yeah, they were killing
in Europe, whilst Europe did nothing.
Each other, Jews and Palestinians. Yeah,
the Hebron massacre.
It doesn't.
Also, by the way. What was the commission? That's it. There you go. Shaw Commission. While the violence was the direct result and the fear of obstruction in their ability, the commission concluded that the conflict was not religious in nature and that the holy site had become a symbol of racial pride and ambition. It determined the cause of the violent outbreak was racial animosity on the part of the Arabs, consequent upon the disappointment of their political and national aspirations and fear for their economic future. That disappointment was attached to the various promises made by the British to both the Arabs and Zionists during the First World War. There you go. Like, that's what it's actually talking about if you read the commissions. That's the Shaw Commission.
It doesn't make sense to me. This in 2025.
The only point was there was violence against Jews before the establishment of the state of Israel.
There's violence
because they were dispossessing the Palestinians then, and they're dispossessing the Palestinians now. It's the same violence.
Against Palestinians. And there was an ethnic cleansing in 1948.
I mean, the Hebron massacre.
What are you talking about right now? You're in the government? Listen, I didn't want to argue.
Wait, I'm sorry, you're not familiar with the Hebron massacre in 1929?
Wait, you're saying that justifies an entire ethnic cleansing in 1948?
Israel was a...
Whoa, this isn't even a good argument.
Hold on. Israel...
What are you talking about?
I didn't realize we were debating.
I don't want to do it, but you say something like that.
The Jewish state was established by international law, right? The UN passed a resolution.
But it shouldn't have been. Also, by the way, the UN at this time, Jesus fucking Christ. Douglas MacArthur was in control of the UN and was getting it to invade, to like justify his invasion of Korea.
It's that recognized the establishment of a Jewish state, and there were a number of Arab countries, including Egypt, that declared war on Israel.
Yes.
The War of Independence.
The ethnic cleansing ban began before that.
The Palestinians
and Israel won the war.
The Palestinians didn't declare war on them. They were just people that were living there, and they were kicked off their land.
By the way, there were 800,000 Jews that were ethnically cleansed from the Arab world.
Do you know what?
There were Jews. You know how many Jews there are
not
in the
by
Arab
the
world?
Palestinians.
Almost none. I'm not talking about the I'm talking about the broader Arab world.
So why do the Palestinians have to bear the responsibility of the Algerians kicking the Jews?
You know, also, many of those Jews wanted to go to America. It was just that Israel was the only viable option, unfortunately, for a lot. It's actually a really high number. So about 250,000 of them went to other places.
You can relocate.
Why do the Palestinians bear the responsibility of Egypt invading in 1948?
Israel's been a state for 77 years.
Bro, it's so depressing what you're saying right now.
You're proposing to undo an established state?
No, I know people that live.
There's also a quote about how the rescue fantasy served Israel from a high-ranking Israeli official mentioned in Being Israeli by Gershon Shafir.
I have family that live there. I don't think that they should leave.
What are you proposing?
I'm proposing a democracy.
Todd McGowan talks about how in many ways, like, Hitler was able to get what he wanted in the way that, like, people now just try and view Nazism as, like, some kind of evil rather than actually addressing it for its political thing and what it was and does and is and remains to be.
I'm proposing an extensive demographic study of what was taken and what was lost, extensive reparations for what that was taken, and a truth and reconciliation process where we can end this shit. What we're seeing right now is that members of the Israeli government are talking about clearing that shit out. And Trump, our president, is talking about putting a fucking jet ski museum there. And that's the reality right now.
That is the far right, yes.
That's
the
view that
I reject. So.
What the far right? I'm talking about the government and the generals that are in charge of Israel.
The Ben-Gavirs, the Smoltrishes of the world, that's a view that I reject.
They're the cabinet.
Yes, and I reject them.
That's
I reject them, so why do you just collaborate with their government?
What Hamas is saying they want to do to Israel.
I'm sorry?
Hamas
murdered thousands.
And these people have murdered 60,000, and you support it. These people are so fucking disingenuous, by the way.
Thousands of people, so there's no...
So what does that mean?
That Hamas is a terrorist organization for murdering innocent children and civilians.
How many civilians have been killed in this war?
The war is a tragedy, but
90% of them have been. But 90% of them have been civilians. They've killed journalists. They've killed journalists.
People have been killed in a war. It's been a tragedy.
They've killed people waiting for aid.
But you're suggesting that it is the policy of the Israeli government to murder civilians?
I mean, at what point is something the policy of the Israeli government? Because, you know, in the case of Hamas, you know, was it the policy to just mass murder people? No, it was actually much more to take hostages. Like, that was what they wanted.
Civilians, and that is a notion that I reject.
You gotta, listen, man, you gotta be like a human being about this.
People who are dying in the war, which to me is a tragedy, because war is a tragedy.
But also, this is not a war. There is literally nothing comparable of like a fishbowl situation where you just have so many of these people crushed into a tiny space and you keep killing, just killing and killing starving people. It sits apart from even other comparable things.
Feel in your heart that this is what you're saying is right?
If you remove Hamas...
You don't actually think that.
I told you what I believe. Don't tell me what I believe. I've told you what I believe.
Why would you believe that?
Because there are people who see the world differently. I know it's a shock to you, but there are people who see the world differently from you.
But why...
I know that's a shock to you.
It seems a little bit like...
The humanitarian crisis has deteriorated rapidly.
I don't want to be disrespectful like this.
You've been at various points.
In what capacity?
You've just been hostile. So.
In what capacity?
It's fine. Don't worry. It's just been a gotcha interview.
I think that my conscience is clear, especially as someone that's lived there and seen it and loved people that live there. And this sucks. I really didn't want to do this. And I think that you saw it as gotcha. Well, this is what people are talking about right now.
No, I get it. Well, not in the South Bronx. People are not talking about Israel. People are talking about how to put food on the table and pay the bills.
Yeah.
Maybe in your world, that's what people are talking about. But in my world, people are struggling. So.
Yeah. Then why, if people are struggling in your world, are you paying $25 billion?
We have a $7 trillion budget in the federal government.
Yeah.
Right, less than.
So it's not that much money?
Less than 1%.
So it's a little money went to Israel.
In the grand scheme of the federal budget, yes, it's minuscule.
I'm sorry, dude. You're bummed. Your consultants told you not to do it. I like this guy a lot too. I hate this. This is so embarrassing.
I don't have anything to hide. I'm willing to go anywhere.
No, man.
Yeah, you clearly aren't, because you aren't capable of answering any serious questions on this.
I'm sorry. I appreciate your time. Listen,
Sure.
having this opportunity for me is a big deal. I don't get to talk to someone in the government that's taking part in these big decisions like this, and
That's participating in a literal genocide.
Well, only one of 535. So.
well, I'll talk to another one. Which one would like me? Virginia Fox?
I don't know.
Do you have her number?
I don't have her number. No.
All right. I appreciate it. I feel like you're mad at me or something. I got to get a big laugh.
No, but look, it's like Hyman Roth from The Godfather 2. He said, "This is the life we've chosen." So, I know what I signed up for.
Is this what happens? This has been I've been doing a terrible job. I'm rambling about Israel and being a Jew and the Holocaust. It's the most embarrassing stuff to talk about in public.
I feel like every Jewish American should have a right to be who they are, to wear a kippah, to display a Star of David.
This is like talking LinkedIn final boss, bro. LinkedIn final boss, the final boss of democratic politics. Justify the genocide.
Proudly and visibly Jewish, without fear of harassment or intimidation or violence.
Well,
I mean, the freedom to be who we are is like fundamental for all of us.
Well, I think that
the freedom to be who we are, whilst you unequivocally support a government that is actively denying 2 million people that right, denying millions of Palestinians, in fact denying millions of Palestinians outside of it.
Where I'm sitting, Israel.
Has he ever... Maybe the Hamas cameras are in this building filming Ritchie Torres right now. The Hamas support network is working overtime with this man here.
Might be a threat to that.
And you have that view, but others have a different view.
Why are we still having this interview? This is exhausting. I'm sweating.
We can end the interview.
The AC's off. I'm just trying to find a button to shake your hand, dude. I don't want to fucking do this.
Dude, we could have talked about so much other shit.
No, I think you have an agenda to speak about this.
You didn't have an agenda.
I really did.
It's your number one topic.
It's not my number one topic.
God, and I mean, Tony Soprano lover just pointed out, Ritchie Torres spends all his time tweeting about Israel, justifying it, and explaining. Every time I've typed Ritchie Torres, I've added an extra T today at the end. I don't know why. But, let's just have a look at his Twitter. He's not tweeted about Israel in a few days. He's doing quite well.
It's just not.
It is.
It's not my number one topic. It's not
what I saw.
Well, then I'm happy. I was not elected on Israel. You don't get elected in the South Bronx and the
I'm
Northeast
not
Bronx.
trying to make you feel bad or like.
No, but I just don't think you know what you're talking about.
That was very interesting. I'm glad I watched that. But yeah, Ritchie Torres just does talk so much about Israel. I'm going to end the stream soon, but there is one thing I want to talk about. So, it's probably easier to explain it now. Which is this topic of the frontier. So what people would describe the frontier as is a different period during settler colonialism. Now, basically, when you have a frontier that is open, you don't include the natives within your society. You're not bringing them in. You're not exterminating them through other means. In the context of the Americas, what they have done to the Native Americans changed after the frontier period. They brought the Native Americans in, but they sought to liquidate them through other means. Patrick Wolf discusses things like blood quantums, and in the context of Australia, you have other means that are not necessarily so violent, but are still genocidal. In the context of the schools, in the context of, the residential schools I'm talking about specifically there. In Australia, you also had a concept of called breeding them white. And so once you bring the natives in, that's when they kind of talk about the frontier period closing. It doesn't mean you've ended colonial practices. And perhaps in the context of talking about expansion exclusively into native land, you might talk about what they're doing with the oil pipelines and the other ways in which they exploit indigenous communities and all of these things as part of the frontier. But largely a frontier period also describes this distinction between the settlers, where the settlers go into this frontier of settlement and dispossess the natives directly. And by settlers, you are actually talking about settlers who, yes, work for their government, and you shouldn't make a distinction between them and their government. You should never have in the American context, because the Americans always end the frontier period and then they try and wash their hands of the most bloody aspects of what the natives did, what they did to the natives. But so, in the context of the frontier, that's kind of what I'm talking about. Not that I'm dismissing that things were done to the Native Americans. I just want to address that. Or that I think, like, Native Americans are fine now, because I don't. I don't think that that's true. And I don't think the same's for the Aboriginals. My friend was telling me, who's from Australia, she was saying, like, in the context of Aboriginals in Australia being much more likely to be arrested, to be much more likely to subject to police violence and all of these things. And yeah, these things exist and they are part and parcel of colonialism. And I understand that you're saying the term frontier is part of, it should be settled. This is why they described it as a frontier. I mean, who is it who writes the frontier thesis? Something Jackson? And it's not the politician Jackson, it's not Andrew Jackson, it's some other Jackson. Frontier thesis. Hold on. Frontier thesis. Jackson Turner. That's Frederick Jackson Turner who talks about that term. But yes, it does imply that basically it should be settled. Frederick Jackson Turner is talking about something else in his Frontier thesis and like the development of America. But yeah. I haven't seen the Boy video where they make their friend a terrorist. Adam also has a Middle East degree study, does he? No, it's Frederick Jackson Turner is what I'm talking about, the Frontier thesis. I haven't... Also, by the way, when I was studying, like, the Native Americans, this was now, like, 3-4 years ago now, so I haven't really read much since. I have read The Making of the Other by, The Making of the Other by Tsvetan Todorova, which I actually need to finish. It was a really good book, but I just started reading it and then never got around to finishing it. What the fuck was that? If you go to Australia, they make the Aboriginals do this land ceremony, and I've got to tell you, it's fucking wild. Yeah, I feel like they make a big song and dance of pretending like things are better, better for the Native Americans there, but they aren't willing to address the injustice and the inequality in society. Clearly, Adam has no idea what he's talking about. He didn't even go to Israel as his first trip and get paid by 500k by Israel once. That's interesting. It's in connection with their friend's coverage. Boy video, what's it called? Video where they make their friend a terrorist. I've not heard of it. Can you send it to me, please? But yeah, I mean, like, it's not to deny that the colonial practices are not over. And Israel has combined these. One of the ways in which Israel exterminated a huge amount of Palestinians without ever having to kill any of them, and removed them as Palestinians, was with the Oslo Accords, because the Oslo Accords what the Oslo Accords came to be was basically expelling Palestinians outside their Palestinianness, because previously Palestinians constituted all people who were in the refugee camps in the surrounding places, Palestinians who were in diaspora, but yeah, and I may have said the Native Americans by mistake in terms of Australia. I know it's Aboriginals in Australia, but same sort of thing. But yeah, guys, thank you very much for all coming on. I hope you have a lovely rest of the evening. I'm very tired now, so I think it's time to call it a night. Diaspora, but yeah. But yeah, and I may have said the Native Americans by mistake in terms of Australia. I know it's Aboriginals in Australia, but same sort of thing. But yeah, guys, thank you very much for all coming on. I hope you